Good afternoon. The Design Review Board Number 2 public meeting on November 15, 2007 is called to order. Please refrain from talking among yourselves during the meeting, and please turn off or put on vibrate all cell phones and pagers. If you need to talk, please leave the meeting room. Anyone who wishes to speak, including applicants, is asked to completely fill out one of the speaker cards that look like this. They're provided by the table at the front door and submitted to staff. You will be called to present a case or speak on any specific item as desired. Anyone who wishes to be re-noticed about a project must completely fill out one of the postcards provided at the table by the front door and submitted to staff to receive notice of subsequent meetings. Current DRB agendas are available by calling our DRB hotline at 818-548-3171 or by visiting our website at www.ci.glendale.ca.us. A handout describing the procedures of the meeting, possible board decisions, and DRB reconsideration and appeals is available at the table by the front door. Please note that appeals must be filed within 7 calendar days of the DRB decision. The chairperson may reorder agenda items at his discretion. Roll call.
Board Member Carnahan?
Here.
Board Member Friedman is absent. Board Member Malikian?
Here.
Chairperson James?
Here. Report regarding posting of the agenda.
The agenda for this meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall at or before 5 p.m. on November 9th, 2007.
Thank you. Oral communication, I don't have any cards at the moment. Let's start.
Mr. Chair, I was hoping that we can go ahead and move the last item, being that it's a modest addition, and I didn't see much of an issue with that, and we can move it up, knowing that we have lot on the agenda. And I don't know if that's possible because we don't have the drawings pinned up, so I'm not sure if that's going to be a problem. And I know
The drawings.
TV people are not going to be happy.
If the chair would like, I can post up the plans quickly. I can
Well,
open the case.
let's
I can-
just start, and then we'll take a break in a little while, and we'll do that, if we can look at that.
Okay.
Okay. The wrong one, that's why.
The first item that we have, that was a continuation, so technically it's still open, right? And do we still need to reopen it again? I mean, being that it is continued?
It was continued to a date certain.
Right.
Well, if
Well,
there
then-
are members in the audience that would like to speak
Well,
on
we'll do
then-
that part. But you giving us this, right?
Yes, there are some new plans that I provided for you today,
Can you show us those things? Do you have them on the board?
and they're on the board on the right side.
So essentially, if new plans have been submitted, you would have to
Look
reopen
at
the
it.
case.
So we just-
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, member of the board, this is case 2-PDR 2007-035C, located at 3817 Lockerbie Lane, or Lockerbie Court, sorry. The case was last heard on October 18th. Board had requested that it come back as a continuance. That last meeting, the board had 3 items for the applicant. The first was to use interlocking overlay clay tile for the roofing. Second, to use stone veneer for the base of the house. And third, to meet with the city's urban designer, Alan Loomis, and then the case planner to review the plans before today's meeting. The applicant has met with both myself and Alan Loomis, and the plans that are provided for you on the right side here are the applicant's updated plans based off the information he's received in meeting with Alan and myself. The plans that are shown over here on the left are from the most recent meeting back on October 18th. I also have a landscape plan for you, as well as location map and photographs, the updated material sample board. The applicant has also provided a section view of the deck, which is being extended off of the front and visible from the front. And I have some photos from one of the neighbors who has also provided a letter for you, which I have dropped off. for you to review. Photos are basically showing different angles of the proposed deck that will be of concern to this particular. She has submitted a speaker card.
Per this section, the deck is 8 feet plus or minus to the bottom of the structure.
This is the most recent by the applicant, trying to, originally the wall was set underneath.
He pulled it back.
Now
to
he's
make it
trying to
shorter.
find a way to pull it back to
Yeah.
reduce down the mass and bulk
Okay.
of the wall as it's supporting the deck.
So what changed in the plans of the house?
They've changed the entry. The applicant will be able to go through all of that in more detail with you. I believe that's the main
All right.
change, but again, I'll let the applicant take you on a tour of that.
One question.
Yeah, go ahead.
There seemed to be some concern, I think it's this oak tree we're talking about. Because, when an oak tree is adult, it's spread out. And this foundation of this wall, does that impede on the root system of that oak tree?
It shouldn't be, but either way, they're going to have to work with the city's arborist to make sure that whatever they're
So
proposing
this
will
will go
work.
before the city arborist then?
Definitely will have
To look
to.
at that oak tree?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're doing caissons.
Harvey?
They're going to do caissons. So they may place the caissons around without actually cutting it.
Far enough, so we're out of the drip line outside?
Well, it's hard to say because, see, this is the edge of the deck and he's coming back further. See, this is his structure back
But
there.
if the arborist looks at it, that'll be good enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Okay. First speaker, Asik. Tell me how to say your whole name correctly.
Good afternoon, Chair and board members. My name is Asik Menachekanian.
Okay.
It's a little bit long last name. I'm sorry for that. In the last meeting was kind of, just scheduled that, I met with Mr. Lunas regarding the design, and I did, and got his kind of recommendation, and I just want to thank him and Mr. Collins, helpful all the time. And so basically the change in the drawing was that, I was trying to be honest, avoid having a flat roof, but I had to somehow, I continue Mr. Allen's, I'm sorry. This is the line drawn by Mr. Malikian, which is kind of, continued the same roof, continued this all the way to the end with kind of, simpler kind of, connection with this roof with an angle, just to lower down the top of the entry, and also for the entry provide a kind of, hexagon-like plan form to provide more kind of, accent for the entry. So this is the accent to the entry. Used to be like this, kind of, pushed 24 inches more towards the front, providing this form. Now, in the first floor, that's fine. So the first floor, the door is right underneath of this area, and this is the overhang you will see at the entry on the top. Change the roof and change the brick finish to the stone, which is kind of, just I agree with you. And that's the change the kind of, material board to kind of, matching more with the kind of, color of the roof and the stucco. So I added this in addition to the sample board I had previously. One thing I just want to ask you, since, this kind of a roof is pretty heavy, I was wondering if it's possible to have the option of either that or lightweight concrete roof tile, which has the less, on half of the weight of this kind of roof, to avoid structural complications.
Is it the flat tiles?
The other one is kind of, S shape, which I proposed last time, but this is two-piece clay roof tile, interlocking
Right.
roof tile, which is nice. I have no problem with that, but, I just want to ask you if it's possible.
I had just a simple question.
Sure.
This is the front elevation.
Correct.
So this one just is an error in that drawing, right?
Yeah,
Should
I'm
be over
sorry.
the door. That
Yeah,
should be over there.
that's correct. Right above the door. So the correct orientation is this, but that's happening right in here. Beyond this, everything is angled.
Right.
So that's unfortunate. Whatever you see, just kind of, half of the elevation is in angle with the.
Okay.
One more thing I just want to mention that I spoke with structural engineer. Since, we're going to provide a kind of, small retaining wall and then a bunch of caissons, how many, I don't know, and a grade beam and a wall, and boxed underneath of this, the best proportion is 3 feet and 6 feet. If I could go up to 3 feet 6 inches with providing an angle brace, and I think that's not a good thing. Just kind of, this is much simpler and better, I believe.
So what is this, from down below, you're just going to see it's stucco?
That's correct.
Stucco under the deck?
Correct.
Stucco wall?
That's correct.
What's the railing?
Here, on
No,
top.
just a- Okay, wrought iron railing?
Yeah, whatever they have, this railing has to match with the existing and also all the railings on the elevation. So these are all going to be the same style and form.
Okay. Any other questions? Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Tika? State your full name, please.
Tika Ashby, let's give you my maiden name, but my address is 3808 Lockerbie Court. I'm the neighbor down at the bottom, and the thing that I object to is the retaining wall that be visible as you come up the driveway. I provide you your pictures, and it shows you what it looks like now without the new deck coming out, and what you'll be looking at. And I know, Mr. James, on your last meeting, you stated that the vines would kind of cover that issue, but because of the severe steepness of that area that they're proposing, I don't think that would be accomplished, because it's a granite, it's a hard surface there, and to grow nice vines or anything than ivy would not kind of take care of that problem. And that's about the only thing I object on this plan, is that retaining wall that's going to be very visible as you come up the street. And if you look on the neighborhoods, everything kind of blends right in. As the bottom picture, which is the A, you can see how the steepness of it, and then the side of it. And basically, that's the only comment I have.
That's what it's now, right? That's what it looks like now?
And we'll come over back. Yes, that is what it looks like.
Okay.
Which is, these were taken just the other day. The one in the dark was taken.
You need to speak.
Sorry.
One of the-
Well, you're welcome to come around as well, so.
Those photographs were taken the last couple of days. The ones in the darker was taken yesterday, so you can see. I did not show the trash cans because that's
Right.
not what we're dealing with right now.
Okay.
Question?
Yeah.
Do you think color would help
Color
on the wall?
on the set going?
Yeah.
No, because you're going to, it's going to stand out, because if you look, may I come around?
Sure.
Because you're proposing the deck to come out right here.
Right.
Okay? And if you put color in, as you're coming up, you're still going to see it. And you can't really grow anything there. As you can see, it takes a long time, so you can't put bushes and stuff. The oak tree here, which was hacked out, was beautiful, and you might have been able to shield a little bit of it, but that's going to take, I don't know how long those trees take to recruit.
That it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. So, Asik, you get another minute. What's your solution?
Thank you. I think since the only reason for that deck is that they do not have any backyard, absolutely nothing. 5 feet beyond the pool is the end of the deck. So the only reason for that is that to give them a kind of backyard. So I could probably just reduce that 9 feet to maybe 8 feet or as much as possible, maybe shrink down 12 inches. And since, that oak tree, which she was talking about, she's right, and, after a while, so this deck embraces that oak tree, and I think with landscaping in the bottom, maybe in a year or so, you would see a kind of, nice landscape, vertical landscape area, not a tall wall. So that's my understanding. But I try to kind of, just push this back because it's not worth it to have a deck with a case on and that kind of, expense for maybe 5 feet. It's not worth it, to be honest.
Yeah, this sounds expensive. That's right.
Yeah.
So what are you proposing?
Maybe to go further back 12 inches, if that makes sense to you.
Reduce the size of the
Reduce
deck?
the size, yeah.
So I was looking at your landscape plan, and the plants that you're showing here are Lady Banks rose, which is really kind of a rambling plant.
Right.
It's not a shrub. It doesn't get really, you can train it if you want to.
Sure.
So it's possible maybe you need something off the hillside guidelines that's more of a shrub about this big.
Right in the front
Take
of
out
it.
in front of it, so then
Sure.
you wouldn't block the view, but you would also handle the front of it.
Sure, no problem.
Then down here, you've got these toyon shrubs that are actually become trees. And these will get up. You probably should come down here. Let's see, what do you got here? These are Craig Merle's. If you actually plant it per the plan, these plants will actually soften this deck.
Sure. That's the reason of,
If they're properly
having.
irrigated.
Sure,
All right.
yep,
Okay, thanks.
thank you.
Okay, I'm closing the public hearing. Your turn.
Well, I appreciate the effort that the architect has made to address certain issues that I had, and I appreciate Mr. Loomis looking at it. But unfortunately, it's not where I want it to be. The other issue about the deck, I think, I think the deck, to comment on the deck, I think a foot is not going to be the amount that you want to see to be able to have an effect. A foot or, wherever it is right now, it's not going to make that big of a difference. I think it needs to go beyond just being a simple stucco and having an exposed foundation from dirt and hope that the ground covers will cover that. I think they need to take a step further to push it back, at least to be 5 feet or so.
5 feet.
Well,
Which way?
push it back. What I would have suggested was to carry this line over and then cut this back, at least have this straight line, and rather than being a stucco face, be a natural stone, so that when you're looking up above, you're looking at a natural stone rather than a exposed foundation, and then you got plaster here, and then you got a wood fascia there. So I think it just it's there. Obviously this is the pretty much the only thing that everybody's going to look at. And all along this whole process, this is what I've been kind of concerned about, that just this simple, nonchalant solution for any condition has been my take on the entire project from the day one that it has gone through. And every time I would say something, it would come back with what I would say. There's nothing really substantiating the design. I say, okay, let's look at the emphasis on the front, let's carry this thing over, and next thing you know, it comes with that. But that's not the point. The architect needs to take it one step further than what I'm saying, is like to kind of understand and grasp the whole essence of what I'm trying to achieve with this, rather than keeping the whole thing as pretty much the same. It's just the colors have been changed. And I hate to say it, but I'm just tired of saying the same thing over and over again and looking at pretty much the same thing. I don't know. I wish Alan was here and kind of talk to him about what his thoughts were. But it's beyond me now. I think I just can't sit there every corner of the building to sit there and design for them, because I don't think that's what we're here for. I think we're here to just look at the overall design and review the design. And to me, the design, it's not there, and it's never going to get there. So the deck, the deck, just a simple, quick solution for that is to cover with the natural, maybe river rocks or natural stone or something there that it kind of blends in with the hill, and it looks like it's been there, in the past, rather than a new plastered box that is being added on. So, just taking that and that small little micro condition and then expanding it to the overall building itself. So, but that's been my stand from the beginning, and you guys were okay with it, so that's why I said let's just not open it, and just you guys can vote on it, because I just don't see the project having the quality that I want it to have. So,
I have a question for you.
What do you think about the roofing materials that he suggested? That doesn't help, but that really doesn't do anything, plus or minus, yeah.
I have a question on the deck. So I agree it's too big a deck, and the spaces he's creating with it aren't necessarily usable.
right.
So if he cut the deck back, say made the whole thing 5 feet wide instead of 9 feet, then he would basically get away from the tree.
Right.
What if he just did a retaining wall and backfill?
Yeah, and that's fine. It's the same thing,
Then it's
because
solid, then he can stone.
create these conditions here that I think if this thing came back to this point,
Just went straight across.
and then this across like that, I think it would be a less substantial and a large enough deck. And unfortunately, they're adding the deck, the only area that is visible from the street. That is the unfortunate location that it needs to happen. But I think, being that it is going to be visible, and now that people don't realize, and none of the neighbors are realizing, that this thing is just a one-story piece right now. But once that is added, they're going to see that second floor addition, and they're going to see this deck, and they're going to see all of this sticking out there. And so I don't think none of the neighbors have realized that. But that's just me.
Okay.
We don't have a problem with the structure much. We used to have it with this area in here. We used to have trouble with that. I think that he's a lot with the way the way he's redesigned. It does break up that mass. I think the way he's brought this roof system up. And because from square one, our guidelines are that looking up, that it should follow the slope, and it does pretty much follow the slope. So he follows that in his design. It may be visible, I don't know, from down below.
Part of it could be. Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult. Most of the time, it's going to be very difficult to see that structure. So we're not arguing about the structure, are we, at all? Are we talking about the deck only?
I just want to give
Yeah.
you one example. It
Yeah.
took us 4 meetings to get this.
Here we
It took
were.
us 4 meetings to get to
Yeah.
this point.
And here we were
Now
before.
we're talking about this. So it took us 4 meetings to get to this, clean this up,
Yeah.
making this look somewhat decent. But now it's going to take us probably another 4 meetings to get that, for me, to
Because we
get
had
my
this-
message across.
We had this before, and that was
Right.
that, it was, we didn't like, it was too massy, was it? That part?
Well,
Too square, too abrupt?
Honestly, Mr. Carnahan,
Yeah.
it was my comment, and you guys were already going to vote for that one. And
Yes.
I just don't see, if
Right.
you guys were happy with that one, you,
And well, I think this design here has more character than I believe this does with that straight tower, pardon me. And the entranceway is much improved. The stone, we went the stone route. I'm not so sure that helps or hurts, Well, that stone really does add a lot of mass to it. But it's up in it, and if this were a flat line, it'd probably do great. But I think it's okay there. So, Reeve, what are we talking about? We're talking about the deck. A lot is going into the deck, aren't we? And I wouldn't object. I'm concerned about the trees and the growth there. I'm concerned about that. And I don't know if we were to bring this, but we'd have to bring the deck probably clear back to here.
It would be fine.
Because the drip line, we've got to get beyond the drip line with the deck. And I wouldn't object to reducing the size of that deck. I know Mr. Malikian at one time was concerned about this straight line along here, but you can see there's a break in there. So it's really not a straight line. And I think something he's done here that we always talk about, he has features here, plus a break in the deck, so we don't reduce that effective mass. It doesn't look as massive with the various features there. So overall, I'm really happy with the architectural style, even the current one. You say it is kind of busy with that zone, but it's not that bad. I think it would contribute to the neighborhood. Nice house. So the only thing that we might, in my opinion, that we might consider is reducing bringing the deck back. That would reduce the mass on the hillside.
Make it shorter.
It would protect the oak tree for darn sure.
Yeah.
So as far as suggestion, the only thing, I would accept the architectural style of the building, and the only thing I would consider or go along with is reduce the deck, bring it back further towards the hillside. That's my comment.
Chair, I have a suggestion.
Go ahead.
That was right.
I have a suggestion. You should pass along the gavel because this thing's not going to move along. And you guys can make a motion. Be done with it.
All right. Mr. Milligan, I thought we would have satisfied you this time, but we're still not satisfied.
Sorry.
And I'm always very, very concerned.
I have to say,
What?
there's a substantial difference from the first day
the
it
original.
started, original.
The fenestration now is
There's a huge difference,
Yeah.
and I have to say that it's moving towards the right direction. But I think it definitely needs at least 2 more times the way that the rate that it's going.
this is time 4, isn't it?
It is time for it.
It's so unfortunate that if we'd had 5 members on the board, we would have had it resolved.
we would have probably resolved it, but
Yeah.
I hate to sit there and design it for them, but I have to, I think it's my responsibility to tell them the things that I'm not happy with
Yeah.
and what the issues are that I'm having with, and I think in just as a general comment for the entire project has been that every small condition has been picked up, not simultaneously, but every time that we would see it, a small condition has been addressed
Right.
for me. And so I don't think the architect had kind of gotten the grasp of what I was trying to tell him, and not just go ahead and change here and there in small little areas just because it wasn't pleasing me. It's not me. It's the house. It's the overall design of the building. They're not. Obviously, I need to see it and then look at it as a whole, but not just simply changing one area just to satisfy my needs. As an architect, when you design a project, when an architect should look at this package and look at it as a whole and look at the entire design and try to come up with something that fits together and not let somebody come and say, well, let's tweak this area. And say, okay, well, we'll tweak it. How do you like it now?
Mm-hmm.
And not even looking at the entire project. And I think that detail that it's drawn kind of summarizes my whole discussion that I've had in the past year or so that we've been looking at it, that here's a deck, here's the detail, it meets the code, it has a stucco, so you have a 1-hour condition that the fire department wants. Well, so what? It's apparent, it's the only apparent location from the street, and so what? It's the stucco, I'm using the stucco. Well, there's a nice opportunity there. There's a nice opportunity to come up with a nice detail. look at it, I mean, it's just very simple for me to say, well, add a stone. I mean, overall picture, they're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for them to just to add that little stone there. It's going to cost them, what, $1,000? Even not even a 1% of their entire cost of their construction. And just simply doing that, what it'll do is it'll reduce the mass, it'll make it a lot more pleasant, and that, I carry that throughout the entire project, but that's just one detail that I'm looking at. So there's nowhere in this coming year, until end of this year, this project is going to be reviewed if we continue and get to where I'm looking for, because it's just, it's taken it so long. I mean, it's taken us 4 sessions just to address that roof and try to understand what I've been saying and what I've been trying to explain to them, that volumes they don't need to be complicated. They don't need to have additional complicating just because of the architect wants to add elements there to make it look right.
So you're-
there are volumes, there's shapes that are coming together, and let them work together, let them die into each other. And I think that it's headed in the right direction, obviously, but again,
Well, is this an improvement over this?
I think that the just simply eliminating all these little playful elements there, that
Well, he's
all these
added-
roofs that are coming into each
They've
other,
added them now.
which is completely unnecessary. I think it's very simple. You have one roof here, you have another roof dying into it, and it's simple as that. And how these two come together, only because, again, it's the interior function of it, as that how they want this to be open down below, and this octagon shape or whatever the shape that they're adding has nothing to do with the architecture. And I don't, the flat roof and on and on and on, the details, they've gone ahead and eliminated all these nice little elements that they had, these corbels, and they added on just on top of this, and it's completely unnecessary. It's fake. Right now, at least it works as the roof rafters that are extending out. It is playing its original design role that it was intended many thousands, hundreds of years that they've used that detail. And now that you have this much of an overhang, which is about a 2x4 sticking out, and then you have an 8-inch corbel supporting that 4-inch overhang, it's ridiculous. I mean, it just doesn't work. And for me to sit there and explain the detail in the architecture at this time of the game, in 4 sessions after a year's review and explaining these little details to an architect, I don't think it's fair for me to do that at this moment.
We've had this before so many times. So it seemed like we've almost reached the point where the alternative assessment panel would decide.
Oh, no, not necessarily, not necessarily. I
Do I
mean,
get to talk yet?
yes.
I was just going to say, there are 3 members, so either way, there
I
will
know.
be a 2-to-1 vote. I'm
I
sure.
personally feel uncomfortable. I would much rather have 5 sitting here to make the decision than having 3 sit here and make the decision.
Well, let
I'm
Mr.
uncomfortable.
James speak. Maybe he can convince you otherwise, or maybe he can prove you that I'm wrong.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Regarding the deck, I agree with you completely. I think the deck should be made simpler and reduced in size, and I think they ought to consider it as a retaining wall and backfill it. Be a lot less structure, more solid, and I think that they ought to stone it the same way they're stoning the lower part of the house. And I think they should reconsider some of the plants on the planting plan so that there are appropriate sized shrubs in the hillside list that will soften the look of that. But if they pull it, make it like 5 feet wide, then the deck will come down. It'll be maybe 5 feet high in places. So it's not going to be very visible.
With a stone face on it.
Yeah, I mean, the
Like
railing
a
is almost as tall as the deck, so I think that's an appropriate solution. I think as far as the architecture is concerned, my view has always been the fact that this is an addition on a difficult house in the first place, on a difficult site, and that
If it was on a flat land, we probably wouldn't approve it. Now it does follow the way it's
Right.
set back and sloped, you know.
Right. But it's like, they aren't actually tearing down the house, they're just adding over where the garage was. Really all they're doing.
Right.
And they're happy with it, it's their house, they're living in it. There's nobody in the neighborhood complaining about it at all, except they're concerned about the deck. So my viewpoint is, it's their house, it meets the codes, they can have it. So I'm in favor on that ground.
The stone should help the neighbor complain about that.
Absolutely. I think-
That'll blend in with the hillside.
Softening the deck is
With stone.
the solution. So
That I agree. That I
That I agree.
make the motion, put that on there.
Okay. So, you want to, can we hear what we have? Okay.
I've got 3 comments right now. The first is to provide shrubs in the front of the deck wall, and I kind of added on saying enough to buffer the effect of the supporting wall from the street.
Okay.
Second, that the deck wall should be decorative, similar to what's being proposed for the stonework on the house.
Okay.
And third, to reduce the deck at the front per the plan that was drawn up there, that it'd be helpful to have a dimension, or
5 feet wide,
5 feet would be the dimension of the deck.
instead of up to the 9 feet, just go, basically 5 feet across. And the shrub should come from the hillside guidelines.
Right. Those are the 3 comments that I have. Were there more?
Yeah, we mentioned stone, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you did, okay. That should satisfy the one neighbor. It would blend in with the hill, if it was stone rather than just the bare deck, yes.
We closed the public hearing.
Pardon me?
We closed the public hearing.
We're ready for...
Talking to her.
We're ready?
Okay.
I'm satisfied with that. I know, I still feel uncomfortable, only 3 of us, but I'll make the motion that we approve. If we don't, will this come back to us again? If we approve this today, all this work will be done
By staff.
by staff?
Yes.
Okay, then I make a motion that we approve the project with comments.
Condition.
Pardon me? With the conditions, pardon me, with conditions.
Told you, pass the gavel along, because I'm not going to say
I'll
anything.
second it.
Okay.
This will be roll call. Mr. Carnahan?
Yes?
Mr. Malikian?
No.
Chairman James?
Yes.
Passes on a 2-to-1 vote. Thank you very much.
Next case.
Okay.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the Design Review Board. This next case item before you is case number 2-PDR-2007-101-A. This case was originally continued from September 6th. It was not heard due to a zoning violation. Actually, the applicant had to apply for a variance to allow the construction of the new proposed addition, or actually new construction, because it was in the front setback due to this configuration of this lot. The project address is at 705 Balboa. The applicant is proposing to construct a new 496-square-foot guest house on a 7,800-square-foot lot. The property contains a 324-square-foot detached garage that will be converted into a new game room. The applicant will also construct a 500-square-foot 2-car garage. The total habitable proposed floor area, including the original house, will be 2,130 square feet. The project is also located in the R1 zone. Staff has 3 comments accordingly. The first comment, the proposed architectural style of the project appears to follow the recommendations made by the design guidelines. All new stucco will match existing along with a new roof with Spanish tile. The proposed addition actually also maintains the rhythm of the neighborhood by maintaining its front setback. Staff comment number 2, the design guidelines for this neighborhood primarily focus on mass and sale. The project exceeds the neighborhood floor area average by approximately 730 square feet. Lastly, the project design indicates changes to the existing landscaping conditions. The landscape plan was provided to complement the new construction. That concludes my presentation. The plans are located here as follows on this side. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do you know the history of that? It appears to me that these poor people, apparently long before the freeway ever went in,
Right.
I assume that street went right down and through
That's correct.
and then down the hill.
Yes, Public Works has a map.
And consequently, they cut off any access to these back lots.
Correct.
So then consequently, when they put the wall for the freeway in here, then they had to, and I assume, did they make an agreement? Did he own that property, or
I
did they,
don't know.
did they have to deed it to the, would be the state in order to make that, or the city?
So,
Huh? They got paid for it. Anyway, it really complicated anything that this person wanted to do to his property. And what he has, and I think, in my opinion, you can say, you don't get up, but anyway, so that's my opinion of what happened. And so I think he's done a great job in fitting that onto the property.
So, does he still meet his landscape requirements?
yes, he does.
All right, any questions? Okay. Siphon? Please state your full name for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Sipan Nazarian. I think Mr. Risa did a good job explaining the project. Open to answer any questions. But in terms of, add one thing, in terms of matching it out the way we did, we were unaware of the fact that that back little area was a street and we had to go for the variance. And we're the only property within that block that has a three-sided street-facing facades. And we got the variance for that. And in terms of the way we've kind of laid it out on the property, it kind of runs with the property to get the square footage that we wanted. But we're also trying to preserve that one little area, you see the courtyard, where we have a Chinese elm tree. It's been there for a long time. And we created that courtyard, and it also, the massing acts as a sound barrier, and allowing us to keep that area without attaching anything to the existing house. So that was another reason why we massed out and kind of laid out the plan of the project the way we did.
Any questions?
Actually, I do have a question. Okay, maybe I'm missing something, or, because I haven't seen the plans, this is the first, I didn't get that.
This is the second time, isn't it?
Is this 2 units?
It's a guest house. So we have that existing property
How
right now. We're
can
adding
you
3.
have you have 110 square foot of game, you have 478 square foot of game here. Well, that's 478 square feet, meaning that there's a 324 here, 110 here, correct?
Right.
And you have a 496 square foot of guest room.
Right.
So that's 900 and plus square foot of addition, right?
Mhm.
Well, the only, from my understanding, Gabriel?
Gabe, I think you're going to have to explain that. Because
This project has been reviewed by the zoning administrator.
Okay.
It has been determined that this will be possible because of there is no connection. There is no wall that connects this unit with this unit as well as the garage entering to this guest house. So yes, this project does conform to the zoning code and meet all the technologies.
Well, what about the setback of the house to the driveway? It's right on it.
correct. That's it.
No, I'm talking about the addition of the guest room right by the garage door.
Correct. The variance was applied for that respect.
I thought it was the setback off that other street.
It was, well, the setback did cover both
But the-
both additions.
So you can't. Seems like you're going to run in, trying to get into the.
Oh,
That's all I'm saying.
this driveway is no longer
No, I'm talking about the new driveway.
new driveway.
Right on top of the guest house, it like, right to the garage door, it lines up with the garage door.
So, because this is detached, from this is my understanding, because this is detached,
Yes.
detached meaning that there's no opening, door opening, so they're gonna sign a covenant that they're not gonna come and punch a door here, and we'll leave it as that, but
That's
being that this is a game room, and there's no doors here, then they can go ahead and do this with an attached forehand, so they can.
Because it is an
I think
existing
you just
permit.
showed people how to make a larger addition. Just found the loophole in the system, I guess. Well, that's good to know.
It is an existing permitted structure,
All right.
but it's being converted and with an addition.
Okay.
Can have that.
That's very interesting. That's something I didn't know.
So you're not suspicious of the full bath in the game room?
Thank you, sir.
Well, and actually, we can all put them on notice that this is a single-family residential neighborhood. They are allowed only one residential unit.
Right.
The guest house and the game room are not permitted kitchens or cooking facilities. And there is code enforcement, neighborhood services, to ensure that this property is being used as a single-family residential neighborhood, or for single-family residential uses only, and
Well, I
that
guess
this would not be able to be ever
The
converted
game
to
room could
a
be a
unit.
home office, right?
The game room could essentially be used as a home office, yes.
But then it wouldn't need a full bath.
No, they would not.
So I'll tell you the problem that I have with it. There's two things, is that this is the dangerous design. And that's why I'm going to protest. Because you walk out this door from the guest house, you get run down by the car, or you get hit by the garage door opening up. That's
I
what's
see what
wrong
you're
with
saying. I
it.
see what
That's the whole problem.
With the door
It's set up wrong. So I wouldn't agree to this configuration for this as liabilities. Okay. So other than that, you're happy with it? It meets all the codes? Okay. Any other questions, Mr. Grant? Okay. So you tell us why you're doing it.
We actually bought the property about a year ago, and I helped design it with my father, and pretty much we designed it for our needs. We're both, I'm an architecture student, and he's an architect himself, and we needed the addition for one, I designed the game room. I'm always at his house with my friends, and we wanted a game room, and I designed most of that. And we also added the guest house area because I am going to school and I come to the house often. That was also a reason why we added it. And then garage had to be there, so the garage came into play. But it's pretty much for,
Well, let me ask you this question. Looking at the guest house,
right?
it seems to me that you should have made the living the bedroom, and the bedroom the living room, and put a door out so you could go from one house to the other. The way you set up, they're not connected. Two houses. It's a guest house.
Meaning connecting to the existing house?
Yeah. I mean, at the guest house, the traffic's between the house and the guest house, and you have them walking out into the garage door. Whereas if you took that door and put it in the bedroom and made the bedroom the living and the living the bedroom, it would at least make more sense in relation to the original house.
Do that.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay, I have another card. Rafi? Please state your full name for the record.
My name is Rafi Nazarian. I'm Stepan's father, actually. I'm the architect and the
I'm
owner.
sorry, you have to speak up a little.
Rafi Nazarian. I'm the owner and
The owner?
architect also. I work with Stepan. He's my son, actually.
Okay.
And the comments you had, it's pretty fair. I always was concerned about that garage door. I mean, guest house door opening for the garage. But there is another door toward the bedroom, which is it's not a window in the back. Back of the bedroom, that's kind of sliding or French door. It's not a window in the back.
Oh, that's
So it
not
can
a-
be, yes. And that's access to the courtyard again.
Well, oh, I see, you have stairs coming off of it? Is that this here? This here?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not on that elevation, actually.
Do you mind coming up and pointing it out, please?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Doesn't show that on the plan, does it?
I would rather show that on the plan. Go here, where we are,
Right.
at this.
Doesn't show
Yeah,
it.
doesn't show
Shows
the
a
plan
window.
right, yes. Oh, that's a mistake. This is the door, actually.
Sliding door?
Yes, double door, sliding door opening. That's why my concern. I would put the door here from the original design, but it's pretty close.
But the door that you're talking about, it's this. So,
Yeah, that's a little mistake, I think. That's a door. That door could be used more for guest house because mostly it's access from the house to that, the courtyard. So that's what I wanted. That was a little mistake. I'm sorry about that.
But I think this other
It's
door is
just-
just plain dangerous.
Oh, we can move that door here or there.
Think about it, some,
Yes. That was always concerned too, but I can move that door right here. It's a little further from the door.
well, it's just that the door swings up or far backs out.
So I wanted to open
Somebody
it.
drives in, no room to jump out of the way. Okay.
what is the window? What are the windows that you're using?
Actually, this is.
This is the house here.
What are the windows that you're using? Windows.
Actually, the windows should be on, that would it need to be actually addressed on the color and materials board?
It's not, because
No window.
one is,
Yeah, they need to address
They what they
that.
are, yeah.
Maybe that's yes.
So you're replacing all the windows in the house?
No, it's brand new window.
All the windows?
what are they? Are they
It's,
wood?
it's aluminum, double glazed.
Gabriel, did they submit it half size? 'Cause I mean, I didn't even know what they're.
Yes.
They did submit?
Did
it?
others?
Wasn't in our packet.
It wasn't on the original. Was it in the packet originally? The house size? What do you mean?
Or maybe because it got
I
continued.
believe that's
and-
it. It
and
was
that's
it was
why-
originally
oh, okay.
submitted, but then it was continued. What is the question?
No, I mean, because
I didn't get it.
I mean, I wish I had, when I drove by it, because I didn't see certain things there, or what they were proposing. Okay.
All right.
Any other?
I have no other
He's standing,
questions.
waiting.
Any other question I can answer?
I guess
But they're not, they're saying that they're keeping it as is.
I have one other card.
It doesn't look like it.
You would need to make sure that it's listed on the.
Right.
Jan, please state your full name for the record.
Name is Jan Westman. Do you want the address and everything?
Yeah.
To 2018 West Kenneth and Glendale.
And where do you live in reference to the house here?
You know, I don't honestly know where it is. I'm just making a comment.
I see, okay.
So I'm faced with a situation that sounds a little similar to this. I think I heard you explain they're adding this addition with a common wall between the existing house and the addition.
No, between
That's not
the-
true.
They're adding a guest house that's attached to the existing garage, which was detached from the house, converting the existing garage into a game room, and there's a common wall between the two.
Okay, all right. Well, then I don't think my comment's appropriate then.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we'll close the public hearing. Who would like to start?
Okay, I'll go. First of all, the windows, it doesn't look like they're aluminum windows. I mean, just looking at what's there. But whatever it is, it seems like it feels that it's a double hung and it has a recess, it has a reveal underneath, whatever it is. That detail, we need to put a condition there that those details need to be maintained.
The existing windows?
Existing windows. And as the owner said, that what they're proposing needs to match the existing, therefore, the same sill that it's there, and then the recess And so all of these thin lines of molding and that needs to be maintained so that the entire house looks, the addition looks to be consistent.
Absolutely.
And that goes with the roof tile, and the trimming colors and all the details that it's in the front needs to be carried to the back, which we all understand that's the case. I'm kind of puzzled with this addition and whatever it is. So if it has been reviewed and the same set of drawings have been looked at by through the variance process and they have agreed on that, then it's beyond me and I can't really question. It's already been determined by the zoning administrator, I guess. So I'm not going to question on that. But as far as the spacing and how they plan the bedrooms and how these work, I'm not sure if it's really the way that they want it. And there's a lot of little things there that are missing, like the doors and so on and so forth. So I'll leave it up to you guys to comment on that. But as far as the detail, it seems too plain, whereas the existing house has a lot of these features, the depth in the windows, the wood post that it's there, the wood post that it's there now with the wood sill and with the double hung windows that are there and these little details. I think all of that needs to be noticed on or written as a condition that need to remain and everything else matches to it.
Thank you.
You know, this is a very difficult piece of property to develop. Yes, and what they've done with it. I have to agree with Alan that, and we should make a note too that, and your note too on. We're going to have to come back, I guess, to relocate that door. It's got to be done. Show that. Your windows, there were some nice windows, old windows existing, and now we've really simplified maybe. Not. It isn't a very appealing.
I don't think they're going to leave it like that. I don't think the way that they've drawn it, they meant that it's going to be like that. They're going to keep what's there an existing and match all these little recessed areas.
So it will.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, I haven't really gone into the plans because some of these plans they don't look like these windows are openable, and they need to be specified if they're double hung, they're casements. It seems like double hung is.
Should we come back now with more detailed drawings?
If it's just a window.
It needs a lot. We need a lot of questions
For
answered.
example, like here.
Is that what it is? Is that
I don't know what that is.
frame full glass window?
I don't know what that is. This is a window.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
it's a patio opening.
Square one. I think we need some drawings that have more detail. That's exactly what they're proposing.
This is not what it is.
All right, so I'm not going to approve this like it is, because I think the site plan is very faulted. I don't think the garage actually works. I don't like the house too close to the garage. I think it should be minimally, here, I'll show you. If you look at this plan here, this is the driveway they're proposing with a gate here. This is, look here, here's where the garage door is, right here and here, 16-foot garage door. Garage door is like right here and right here. So if I parked right there, you can't use it. Right? It's inaccessible. So this driveway should probably go to here. So straight in, and then this thing should be cut off right there. Guys, you can't open the door. The normal parking stall next to an obstruction is 10 feet wide. So you're going to get out of the car. So until they produce something that looks like that, I want to prove it. It's
Well,
not
the-
buildable, it's not
The
doable.
other thing they can do is, rather than open a door here, they can close this.
No, I'm just saying that if you had
And
a
then
car,
open the door.
see, they're providing double car driveway, right?
Oh, I see.
You
What you're
can't get
saying
out.
is that you can't, that this
That's
is
too close, that has to
Right.
come off. So they need to rework this. I suggest that they actually go this way with more stuff, cut back on the front and plant more, because they're going this, they should be going this way, see? Actually, they ought to stick this on the house and make a guest house, and everybody would be happy. Be simpler, but the way it is now, I don't think the site plan works. It doesn't actually park two cars, you can't get in and out. So, I'm ready to send them on.
One other thing that I've kind of noticed, if you notice these, I'm trying to, plans are not really clear what's going on. The addition on the roof, this is the existing roof. The hip roof that's been used, it doesn't really work. The garage wall, right now, the way that the elevation shows is here. And they're pretty much adding all of this on top. So I'm not sure if they can even do that. They're probably going to demolish the whole garage
No,
and
that's the
build it
new
again.
garage. The old garage is the game room.
Well, no, theoretically, they're using this existing garage
Game room.
for the game room, so they're not demolishing that.
Right.
They're reusing that, but if you look at the elevations, existing photographs, they're going to be adding on maybe 4 or 5 feet on top of that.
That's existing up
And then
there.
with this Pizza Hut hat on.
That's the new one. That's the new garage. Garage door.
Oh, this is the new one. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Well, okay, so then this is your existing. I'm trying
No,
to.
that's the new part of the new game room.
That's the part of the game room, which is this is the existing garage, this is the attached
All
piece.
new.
Okay. So they're attaching that to the same point. Yeah, I think you need to look at the details, how you attach new addition to the existing and use the existing details for the roof pitch and the way that it's been addressed, how this thing is coming and going down and it becomes a flat roof rather than carving it in here. Maybe that you do the same thing so that it kind of matches and it feels that it's part of the existing addition rather than a plant on it.
Okay.
Well,
Can we hear the?
okay, I was just finishing up that last comment. It basically was to revisit the details with respect to roof connections to match with the existing roof connections.
Anything else?
Okay, yes, I do have, to revisit the design for or door location of that one door that is abutting
By the
the
garage.
entrance of the garage.
Well, I think Mr. James was saying that we need to, it's just too close to the edge for the cars to come in. Just saying that the cars, when they back out, it's just too close. He's saying that maybe they can look into moving this in. I don't know if they can do that. That's my question.
I don't know, but they have.
I don't think they can, because then it becomes more of a unusable space. It's almost a 11-foot wide.
That's why they're going to redesign, because they can't do it.
Well, I don't know if they.
Okay, so they have to redo their driveway, eliminate or widen their gate. Actually, the gate has to swing out, it can't swing in. They have to redo the driveway so it's the full width of the garage door, so it'll accommodate. They have to move the
Actually-
addition 2 feet away from the driveway so that it provides
They
a
can't
10-foot
swing out.
wide parking stall.
Yes. Oh, no, first of all, I can't swing out, and second of all, was the gate approved as a separate item for the standards variance? Because if not, it's in the side setback,
I'm sorry, the new proposed gate?
the new proposed gate.
No, that was not included in that.
So they would have
It actually has to slide right, can't swing. Can't swing
to
in.
be away from the property line then.
Yeah, that
It's a
will
side
not
The
be
gate's
there.
out of the question.
Yeah, the gate will not be there.
So they just have to widen the driveway, widen the apron, move
Correct.
the house away from the garage.
That's
so that
correct.
There's
In the side yard.
adequate driveway space.
Adequate driveway space.
Open your door when you park the car in the driveway and get out on the
Yeah.
on the passenger side.
Correct.
Okay.
Interesting.
The windows, right? The windows to match. Everything else will.
Motion, somebody.
May I
Make
have
a
a,
motion.
I have a, this brings up one thing that I think the direction we're moving in. If you listen to the city council lately on their reference to the design review boards, and
Talked about us?
Honestly, I have not listened to anything they've said, so I'm going
I'm-
with
I'm-
business as usual.
and Billy has to, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm getting the impression that we're going to lean a lot more on staff to make a lot more critical evaluation of these projects that come before us. Do you get that same feeling?
Not
that
necessarily.
City council wants that out of us?
Not at this moment. No,
No.
they haven't made any commitment. They've talked
We
about it.
may not
but
be
they
here
haven't,
next
no.
month anyway,
Right,
but,
so what's your point?
I'm just saying that, my point is that I think we should lean a lot stronger on staff to look at these and be more critical when these projects come before us. Sometimes, like we had on this current one here, we had everything, the architectural style project appears to follow the guidelines, the design guidelines, the neighborhood primary use, so it's okay. The proposed indicates changes to existing landscape, but that's very nice. It's very nice comments. Very
But Mr.
pleasant.
James, we're not relying. I mean, we're not depending on them. We're looking at them at some recommendations, and we're going to take that as our own, and we're going to make our own decisions on that. And we're going to review the design on ourselves. I mean, it's like on the last one, I asked Mr. Loomis to look at, and with all due respect, I appreciate his design knowledge and abilities, but I personally didn't think that the applicant met that. So I don't think we should get into that.
Compliment staff. We work together.
Yes.
It takes all of us to do the job.
But I'm saying I need more help.
Well, we're here to help.
They might need more help from us, so either way. Okay, so, is there a motion for Balboa Avenue?
I'll make a motion to return for redesign with comments.
Okay.
A second.
Okay, motion was made by Mr. Malekian, a second by Mr. Carnahan.
Yes.
This will be roll call. Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Malekian?
Yes.
Mr. James?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay. We're going to take a 5-minute recess.
Is okay? And then, do you need help putting up plans?
All right. Restart. Go ahead, please.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the board. Presented before you is case number 2-PDR-2007-081, located at 1625 Del Valle. It was first heard on August 9, 2007, when there was a vote 3-0 to return for redesign. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing single-story house, which was built in 1939, and construct a new 2,841.95 square foot single-story house with 504.9 square foot of garage, of which 4.9 square foot will be calculated towards the floor area. The applicant is proposing to maintain the current circular driveway width, and which was one of the comments which I will go over later. Since the last meeting, the applicant has reduced the overall square footage of the house by 485.5 square feet. The applicant also has changed the height of the proposed structure by reducing the second floor. Moreover, the architecture has not changed the architectural style of the house. He has maintained the Mediterranean style, and also has reduced the front setback from 49 feet, which was originally proposed, to 31.75 feet. The project address is located in the Woodlands, Verdugo Woodlands West neighborhood, which is categorized with woodlands like designs and houses. Mass and scale are primarily the main concerns. However, the Woodlands neighborhood required the Woodlands design guidelines require that there is more stress on the architectural significance of the houses. Landscaping and the quality of the landscaping is uniformly aligned with along the street. Okay, I will quickly go over the comments since I have lost my track. The comments that were made on August 9 by the board. One of them was to maximize the landscaping and revise the planting plan to reflect the appropriate Verdugo woodlands varieties. The applicant is because the applicant is proposing to maintain the existing driveway width, that results in more landscaping in the front of the house. That is one of the conditions that applicant has tried to meet. Make the project more architecturally significant. The applicant has not changed the architectural style. Like I said, it is still Mediterranean, but per the applicant, it is as significant as it can be. And also one of them was to consider reducing the footprint of the house to reflect the design guidelines. The footprint of the house has, in a way, not really reduced because he has eliminated the second story, so it resulted a larger first-story house, but he has eliminated the gazebo in the back, so there is no more gazebo. Reduce the overall mass of the house. He has obviously gotten rid of the second story, which has resulted in a smaller-looking house. Again, one of the comments was to reduce the size of the circular driveway. He has maintained it, as already mentioned. Relocate the garage door to decrease the paving in the front. What the architect has done is, garage used to face the street, and currently the existing house has a garage orienting east, which is the architect's proposal for the new house to still face east. From the street, it won't be visible, and it will result in less paving in the front. And lastly, was a consideration to consider contemporary style design. Applicant has not taken that into consideration. Staff also has some comments. The proposed project's mass and scale seems to be more consistent with the design guidelines and in the surrounding neighborhood. Staff recommends that the driveway be decorative, which applicant has brought to my attention that it is indicated here that it is going to be decorative. And also, staff recommends that the front entry tower be reduced in mass just to make it look less massive. If you have any questions, I will be available.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
So this rendition, here we have what appears to be a red tile. Now we're having a dark brown tile. Is that accurate?
I believe so. If it's not, the applicant will definitely address that.
This is a new roof color?
Yes.
Okay. And we're just not showing the driveway as interlocking stones, are we? Just
It's on the plan.
It's just on the. Okay.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yes. But
He shows it, but not entirely.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not shown.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I have cards. Edward, please come up, state your full name for the record.
Chairman and board members, my name is Edward Hagopian. I'm the so-called architect of this new project, as well as the old design of this house. And my address is 220 South Kenwood Street, Suite 210, Glendale 91205 is my address. And we had, as you read the letter, we had 2 meetings with the neighbors. And since the owner was living in an existing guest house, because the house in front, existing house in the front is not livable. And they are living in that guest house, which they don't have the facilities to live. They don't have gas, and they are in rush to have a project that is approvable. That's why we decided to make a drastic and change and make it one story to satisfy the neighbors. And now the project is in front of you. I read this letter, and by the way, the height of this new one is not changed from the previous data that we have in the project. It says 28 feet. It's not. It's reduced down to far less than that. We forgot to change it. Sorry for that.
The height of this new one is, how different is it from the original house?
Well, the original house was two-story, and I believe it was like 28 feet high. But this one is
Existing.
Oh, existing house.
Yes.
The existing house, it's if you look from the side, not from the front, it's a gable roof. And the highest point of that gable is about 16 foot high, which is the same thing as what you see with the new design. So the height, except that tower that is maybe 2 foot or so higher, and we did that higher because if we lower that, it will start to mix with the roofs on the sides and on the back. So we try to keep it separate. So that's what. By the way, this is exactly, that tower is exactly one of, similar to one of those houses that when we were walking with the neighbors, and we have a kind of design board session there, and everybody says, yes, this is the house we like. I said, fine, okay, this is what you have in your mind, we'll design accordingly.
You have a picture of that?
Pardon me?
You have a
No,
picture
I
of it?
don't think so, because that was one street lower. So they voted for that kind of design, and we agreed on that, and we designed, and it's in front of you now. Pavings are decorative. We have mentioned in the plans. We have changed entire landscaping because I personally was not happy with the previous plantation, and I agree with the design board, and I agree with even the designer of the landscape architect of it. So we changed it to a kind of plantation that is proper for Verdugo woodlands. I hope you will like it. The garage direction of entry to the garage is changed. Now we are entering perpendicular to, parallel to the street, in fact. And this is one of the comments that we had last time. It's a simple house, one story, like some of the houses in that neighborhood. There's a comment in this letter saying that the occupancy permit should be granted to the owner after the landscaping is started. It's a part of the process anyway. The design board inspector will go there, and if the plants or trees are not there, he will not give the approval, final approval. That's very obvious. That's all I can say. If I have forgotten anything to say about the design, that's it. Do you have any questions?
I have two questions.
Yes.
In looking at your site plan, sheet A1, and then looking at sheet A2, it doesn't show the fireplace in the living room. It projects out 30 inches or more, right?
Yes, you're right. It doesn't show there.
And it doesn't show up on the
Well, the fireplace was added later, so we'll add it, we correct that.
It doesn't show in the landscape plan, and then the walk, and it interferes with the planting.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other thing is that nowhere on the landscape plan or this plan does it show what you're going to do with the trash can. Where are you going to park them? There's no. So I don't know if you wanted to stick them
We have,
outside the dining room window?
no, we have a location here.
Where did you have them
If I
lying?
approach to-
Yeah, please.
They are a very nice location for that trash, and that is.
Will they fit in there? You need 3 of them. Off the master bedroom? How do you
Yeah, but
get,
it's in a way that
how do you get there
it's
from the
hidden from the
kitchen?
master bedroom.
The kitchen, it's a long walk from the kitchen.
And we have to, the other choice will be not a very pleasant location, which is in front of the dining room. That's not a good location.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. Okay. Any other questions?
Question?
I just want to say one thing to Ed.
Go ahead.
Usually he brings here that are very controversial for us. But this is a nice design, Ed. It's unusual for you to present this design to the
Well,
board.
to be honest with you, to me, the first design was much better design, and because of the politics, we changed it to something that will please the neighbors more than it will please me.
I appreciate you sticking up for your design. Thank you.
Thank you.
Kim, please come up, state your full name for the record.
Good afternoon, members of the Design Review Board and staff. My name is Kim Sellers. I'm here on behalf of Verdugo Woodlands West Homeowners Association. First of all, I want to very much thank the homeowners for coming to meet with us and talk with us. They've been most gracious, and I'm sure they'll be welcomed into the neighborhood. I'm sorry that their architect doesn't like the house. I really hope you like the house. It's your house. I am grateful to hear that the house is not 24 or 28 feet high, as shown on the plans. That gave me a heart attack this morning. The windows, we would like to clarify the conditions from the last review was that they use high-quality materials. I'd like to clarify whether or not the windows are going to be wood. Is that possible?
Sure. We'll ask them what they will ask.
Okay, thank you. And I would hope that they would be wood windows. The last Design Review Board hearing suggested that the home should be architecturally significant. This is a nice compromise. It is fairly plain. We would like to see the tower reduced. This neighborhood does not have towers. I am familiar with the house that they're referring to on the next block, which is not on the same street and not comparable. But in any event, the tower should be lowered so that it fits better into the neighborhood. You can see the way it's sticking up. That just is not a Woodlands look. Regarding the cement driveway, I'm wondering if it could be something that's porous. You've got oak trees there,
They're
and I'm concerned
interlocking
about the weight.
pavers, just locking stone. Yeah.
Interlocking pavers.
So it will be
So it'll-
porous.
They can be porous, depends how they're
Okay.
installed.
And I didn't understand whether the roof color had been clarified, whether it's going to be red or brown. The brown is very attractive.
So it's kind of a brownish.
Color there.
And with respect to the shrubs running down the side of the property lines, as I looked at the plan, it just says shrubs. It doesn't identify the shrubs. You have 6 feet setback here, so you have a very narrow area. You're in a very high fire area. And I always think screening a house with shrubbery is the last resort, but to the extent they do, it should be appropriate both for woodlands, a fire area, and so that you can get down that setback for safety reasons. On either side, there's only a 6-foot setback on the opposite side, so you're working in very tight areas, and there is a potential for some problems. And so I'd like to see some specificity with the shrubs. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, question. You know, you commented about the entrance area, that tall tower.
Yes.
Well, you said you'd like to see it lowered
Yes.
and reduced in size, or what?
Lowered in size so that it's
Just-
not higher than the rest of the building, and it's not so grandiose. And I apologize for that word. I can't come up with a better one. But it's a massive, high, sort of grandiose-looking entry, and that's not Woodlands. If it is reduced down below the other roof levels, you can see from the front, if it was reduced down so that it's a little bit lower than the center peak, but still perhaps a little bit higher than the two sides, I think you'd have a much more attractive building and something more suitable to the Woodlands.
How about the architectural style overall of this new, the one we had before us?
It is still Mediterranean.
Yeah.
I still don't believe that the Woodlands is Mediterranean. And I also would not impose my tastes on these people.
Is that much different, do you think, than the neighborhood? Significantly different, something that...
I'm going down the street in my head. I believe it is accurate to say there are no Mediterraneans. If this is Mediterranean, I believe it's accurate to say that there are no Mediterraneans on the street. There are Spanish. There are Tudor. Certainly it's an eclectic street. But I don't think that there are any Mediterraneans exactly of what I think of as a Mediterranean style, which is what both these are. Anything else? Thank you.
Ray? Please state your full name and address for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Raymond Haug. I live at 1617 Del Valle, 2 doors west of the proposed project. I spoke at the last meeting, and I had some pictures, and I'll show you a picture of the house that was referenced in Mr. Agopian's or seller's note there. We do appreciate the homeowners and the architect meeting with us. It was very helpful. We were able to walk the property the first time, and then we walked the street the second time, and I think it was very beneficial. We had good exchange of information between the neighbors and the new homeowners, and the home that we saw that they liked is this house here, and this was in the packet that I provided last time. It's 1624 El Rito. So you can see that, and it was that tower, and that tower is a little imposing to me too, but again, that's what was there that has kind of, you see the elements of that design here. We're supportive of the proposed revisions with the staff recommendations. We didn't note the decorative driveway, but certainly the proposed driveway is excellent. Reducing the center front entry tower, again, that's our concern too. We are concerned about the shrubbery. Again, it's woodlands. They've already cut a lot of the trees in the orchard that used to be there that was lovely. I don't know if there any provision can be put in that the trees that are on the landscape plan are put in before they occupy the home. But I know for one case, there was a house just on Hermosillo that I look out my front. This is right from my front yard, and this is what I see because they haven't put the trees in that they had on the original plans. And that there, they didn't put the trees. There's lights that shine in the neighbors at night, and again, they're there, but they don't put them in. So I don't know what can be done, but I think it's something like that needs to be certainly looked at and made sure that we get a green neighborhood like we have, not just in their house.
You should direct your complaint to staff. Their job. They do the follow-up.
Sure. And then certainly the house heights, we were confused with the plans that were shown, and that's been clarified, so we understand that and appreciate the opportunity to speak to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Vardan? Please state your full name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Vartan. I'm living in 1631 Del Valle Avenue,
Your last name, please?
Hovanesian.
Okay.
And I'm east side of this project.
East.
Neighbor of the east side.
Okay.
Now, I didn't able to attend this meeting.
I'm sorry, you have to pull the microphone
Okay,
closer.
I didn't able to attend the meeting last time because I was in vacation. No, the Errito Street I know very well. I know this house which they're trying to clone. I like this house. It's very good. The difference is between this house and this one project is Errito Street garage is in backyard. They have the in front of the house. This
Right.
is big difference. If you look there is nice house. I was watching this Errito Street few years already since they're trying to update the roof because I like this house myself. Okay, now my point will be first. I have submitted last time few pictures. Mr. Milken not was there. I very concerned my view from my backyard because they put. Can I go there?
Please.
To show them. Here's my house.
So if you don't mind speaking up just a little bit as well.
Here's my house. The difference between this point and this is around 19 feet. Between this point and this feet, 30 something feet.
Now, are you talking about height, distance?
Yes, distance.
Okay.
And it's going to close more all view to the mountain because last time I went submitted the pictures.
Yeah, but this is a one-story house now.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
No, still, my point is,
Can I see those pictures?
this is the front. If you go to all of them. Okay. My whole point is, if you go to any place, they're trying to put every house or parking lot, everything in the same line. Okay? If you move the house a little bit, the same line with me, it's very helpful to us. Because if you reduce this size, I can have more view to the mountain if it's possible.
So at what point are you standing that you don't see the view?
I can see the view right now. If you go to the pictures,
Yeah.
from this, every my windows, I can see the view right now. Very clear, no problem at all.
Yeah.
If we're going to build this portion, it's going to close my view. Our proposal is, first of all, this garage is around 500 feet, 500 square feet. Minimum should be, I believe it's 400.
Who knows, bigger than that.
Bigger. Anyway, because they're proposing to be in the front of the house,
Where it is now, same location.
right now it's in front of the house.
Yeah.
When you say where is the right now its roof is lower, the size is smaller than they're proposing.
That's right.
Okay? If you look the pictures, still, you cannot see the problem with the existing one. Go to look the picture is very low than anything around this one.
Right.
But my point is, if they're going to clone the Errito one, it's better to put the garage in behind, in the backyard. Because if somebody has 13,000 square feet house, yard, very easy to put one garage in the backyard, very easy. If you have 5,000 square feet yard, it's difficult to move the around. 12,000, no problem at all. There's existing examples. Now, the driver is good, I don't have problem with this. Only I have problem with the difference, my house and their house, the shifting. I have the problem with shifting. And the height, like my neighbor told, all the houses in 8 feet ceiling in my neighborhood, this proposal is 10 feet. Plus, I want to mention one thing. When they start to proposing this construction, my neighbor start with the for sale, she wants to move. Address is 1643. My next neighbor, next to my neighbor, she puts 5 signs front of her house saying, I'm against the modernization of Glendale or something like this. 3 of these signs facing to the house which is for sale because she was very upset. After a few weeks, she took all these signs out. She put another for sale for herself.
Huh?
Yes. Now, I'm facing new construction here from my right side, 2 construction from my left side. Very soon you can see the other application because All these houses in 1,500 square feet or less. Anybody is going to buy these two houses, new houses, they're going to update.
Very possible.
Mr. James?
Very
Okay.
possible.
I'm sorry.
Let me,
Your time, sir, your time is up. I just have one thing to say.
Yeah.
Is this?
You have a
This is the
question for him?
picture- Yeah, this is the picture that you were showing, right?
yes.
This is the, okay, wait, and you got to speak back so that they can hear you. This is the roof of the house, the existing garage, right? Okay, so based on the height that he's showing, he's going to raise the wall 2 more feet, so make it a top of plate of 10 feet. And the height, let's say, it's going to raise another 2 foot or so from what's there now, assuming that.
Around 2 or 3.
Well, what is this behind it? What is that house
Mine is
behind it?
never.
Well, 2 feet behind this house needs to go up almost a story to be able to block any kind of a view, because you already have an existing house behind it, and it's about 5 feet taller than this. So what are we looking at? What is the issue?
Oh, and I would like to remind the board, there is no view
Okay.
protection.
No, I understand.
It says an FYI that,
Okay,
Here, there is no.
and right now, I see it, so, okay. All right, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hagobian, you have 1 minute.
The neighbor to our east is looking to a gable of about 16 foot high like this, right from this angle. Now he will see the hip roof, which is about 10 feet,
Right.
starting, and it goes with the slope. I think these are the things that you know better than I know, and I don't have to explain these things for you. I don't have much to say, except that we were asking for the roof color. It's a brownish color that you can see there. Landscaping, I have no control on that. We have hired a landscape architect that has a long experience in the city. If you don't like anything, please let me know. I will tell him to change it. Well, in a different location, I would like to come to in front of the design review board and talk a little bit more than this, because sometimes neighbors are in fact wasting the time. Sorry to say that.
All right, so I have a
They are
question.
not aware what are the processes here. Yeah. Thank
I have
you
a
very
question.
much.
Question?
Yes.
I like the tower, but how low can you make it without affecting the roof line?
That tower that you see in that picture is higher than this tower.
I understand.
I'm not crazy for that, but if we lower that, then we lose the proportions of something
How much?
vertical to rest of the horizontal things in there.
know.
It's not.
6 inches?
It's not. It's not architectural marvel, but the thing is that if we have to do everything according to the neighbors, then
I'm just asking, I realize that you have to have a waterproof connections around it, et cetera, and you have to really room for the roofing material,
well,
so,
let us at least to have one thing that we like it.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I'm closing the public hearing. Mr. Carnahan?
In all due respects to the people that have talked here today, I find it's a very modest structure. It's nothing, other than the tower, and I don't know about the tower height. I really don't. I think it would affect the architectural style. If we moved it too low, it would just destroy the architectural features of the house. The wood windows comment, I think we can,
Oh, wait a minute.
yes.
That was the thing we didn't get. I'm going to reopen the public hearing for a moment.
I forgot to say that it's said in the elevations that this will be clad window, which is better than a wood window. Inside is wood, outside is clad aluminum. So once it's
Recessed?
painted,
Are they
yes,
recessed?
it's all windows are recessed because of the depth of the walls. And since it's, how the clad is, again, I don't have to explain to you, but maybe it will be interesting for the gentleman or the lady, I don't know, who asked about the quality of windows. The windows are clad. Clad means the outside is more durable material, which is aluminum, which is pre-painted, and that paint is a special paint that will not chip and flake and fell apart, and from inside this wood is expensive, very high-class windows.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I'm going to close the public hearing.
Move from there.
Okay, continue, Mr. Carney.
You know, even the staff has recommended to reducing the entry tower size, make it look less massive. Personally, I don't know what impact that would have on the overall architecture of the building. I'm afraid it'd probably diminish. It seemed to be properly proportioned to the structure itself currently, the size of the tower. Granted, the overall architectural style is foreign to the neighborhood. Is it significantly foreign? I think that it has a place in the neighborhood. I don't think it deviates from the overall size of the structures. I'm glad to see that Ed did reduce it to a single-story structure. It's more compatible. The driveway is nice. I think it adds to the neighborhood. The stones, the stone driveway, that adds. That's a nice feature that adds to the neighborhood. I might like to see a little, not tall, but low-level architecture within that circle. Might add something to within the driveway circle. It's nothing but grass now.
Oh, landscaping?
Landscaping, yes. But it'd be low-profile type landscaping, not anything tall, because you don't want to. But that might add a little character to the house. You have some low line.
He's showing
Pardon me? He doesn't show any, does he?
ground cover. Oh, ground cover. Walls in the back, and the front he's got ground cover.
But there's a tree. It doesn't show that. Oh, that's out on the street. So that covers it on the street. Couldn't do a heck of a lot with it. You might be able to find something to add a little character to the landscaping, low landscape, rather than just grass. Okay. Mulching is not legal, is it?
Yeah, that's all
It's
right.
against the fire code.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Well, they'll catch him on that then.
Oh, but overall, with due respect to the neighbors, I think it's not an overly designed structure. It's more compatible with the neighborhood, in my opinion.
Thank you.
I would like to hear, because I wasn't here, I just want to see your opinion. And
Oh, what I thought?
so I'll
Well,
keep my mic on.
On the previous one, I thought it was too big, and I didn't like the way they did the garage and the driveway, because it didn't work. It was just overdoing it. So I had recommended that they try to stick with the existing circular driveway, because interfering with the neighbor's trees might make it too big. But as far as this is concerned, I've gotten in trouble for this already once, but in the woodlands, I like to see more trees.
Or
So,
what?
trees.
Well, you've got a big tree there in the front. And
In the woodlands, I like to see more trees. I'm
Oh,
just
more.
saying that. I think that's one of the characteristics. It's shade. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm having a little trouble, and I think staff can fix it. It's just that this is the incorrect site plan here, because there's a big fireplace here. It doesn't show here, so this isn't going to happen here. Right? This one might, but this one won't. There's a fireplace right there. Then along here, we have low shrubs. So there really isn't anything vertical of any kind screening the house, right? Plus we have a 6-foot setback with a 3-foot wide walkway. There's only 3 foot of planting. Actually, there's less because there's going to be a property line wall with footings. So this is your planting. And sometimes we give up the walkways and we do stepping stones, so we can have more planting. There's a possibility. There are taller vertical plants like that you might make a hedge out that makes small trees that you could do in a smaller space that would break it up a little bit. I just think that right now that all the planting there is really low, and there's, for instance, nothing that looks like there's nothing on the walls or anything. So basically, there's a few trees in the front, and eventually there maybe be some trees then there's a few trees in the back, and on the side is the house. So I tell you the truth, I've always thought that in these areas, we probably should have larger side yard setbacks so that you can have both the traffic and the planting. But he has current setbacks, so that's my only wavering on this. Other than that, the house, I think, is fine. I agree they're entitled to the tower, their choice, their house, their choice. I mean, they've given up a tremendous amount so far on the cycle, so anything else is blood, in my opinion. So with that, I would approve it, providing the landscape plan gets revised and staff can review it. So it correctly reflects the site plan. And it does show how they're really going to handle the trash, because I think what they're suggesting is, second thought, there's no way you're going to go from the kitchen to that point every day, twice a day, to dump your trash out. So they really need to look at it, figure it out. That's all.
Okay. It was unfortunate for me not to be here because I was asking Vilya to see if I was, because I couldn't remember this project. So I recall correctly, I wasn't here. I'm glad that the discussion has gone towards from the 2-story to 1-story, or whatever the discussion was. And I'm very happy that they have attended several meetings with the neighbors. I think this project, if it would have stayed as a 2-story, would have been more of an impact to the neighborhood, and I would have looked to the immediate neighbors to guide me with what they would feel. And which I think that the end result has come to a point that everybody can kind of live peacefully and in a harmony. I'm kind of surprised, and I'm in a, I guess, in a happy way for the owners, that the discussion didn't kind of go towards the architectural style. Because when I look at the neighborhood and I look at the houses, and in the past, Mr. Hakopian's done incredible style, many projects, and the style that he's chosen has fitted within the neighborhood. I think, personally, knowing that it is being nestled within the woodlands, and being that the architecture that it's predominant within the neighborhood is, I mean, we can see it, there's no argument with that. This definitely is going to be a unique style that is going to be fitted into the vernacular of the architecture that we have within the area. So I'm kind of I'm happy that the neighbors have looked at it, and they do not have any issues with the style that is being proposed. Because if they had, I would have agreed with them. Right now I'm at a point that even if the style, the style that was chosen to be designed within the site, if it was a more of a what do we call it, the architectural significant, and there is a discussion, an argument there, and we can get into the philosophy of what is the significant architecture. To me, the significant architecture would have, if I read this and I wasn't there, I would have probably looked at it and said that whatever the neighborhood significant architectural style within the neighborhood, immediate neighbors, either side or across, that would have been the significant architecture. And that would have been the driving force for me to start the design of this project. And I wouldn't object to the 2-story. And that's where I'm going with this. The 2-story, I think it looked massive and it looked large because of the style of the architecture. I think it's a beautiful project, either one of them, whichever one I look at. But to me, being that it is nestled within the 1-story craftsman homes and very traditional ranch style one-story wood siding and all that. To be able to fit it within its context, then that style would have been more appropriate to me. But again, I look back to the neighborhood and the neighbors, and it seems like with the effort that they have put in and walked the neighborhood and walked the houses and seen the styles that are there, and everybody's happy with the compromise that they are making, then I pretty much have no comment on that. And I would probably agree with the homeowners and agree with you that you guys were going with this in a fashion that everybody's happy with. As far as the tower, proportionally, I would have lowered it a little bit, but that's a consideration. I would probably put a consideration. But again, being that I was absent in the previous one and my comments have not been stated in the previous one, therefore I'm not going to bring in new comments and new conditions onto this. And to me, you guys are happy, the neighbor's happy, then I become I'm going to become a no say in it. So I'm probably going to vote differently on this project. But if you would considering and adding that consideration of lowering the tower, I think it would help. I think it definitely would help. It does compete with.
I'm sorry, sir. We can't.
Sorry, I live next
Sir?
to the project.
Sir, I'm sorry. The oral communication period for this case is.
The tower that I said that it can be lower than the fireplace. I think it's competing. I think that I would probably say the fireplace and the chimney and the tower. I think they're definitely something to balance out either or. That would be my suggestion. But again, if you guys are happy,
Chimney's taller than it has to be?
No. What I'm saying is it's competing with the tower.
Yeah.
So when you look at the tower and the chimney, the
Isn't
height-wise.
chimney higher than it has to be? It looks like it is.
No, I think it's fine. Well, I'm not sure. So I think the balancing of the balance that it's creating, the center that it's creating, the entry door with the large windows for the living room and the smaller windows for the garage. I think those. It's the balancing pivoting point for the facade. So I think if it becomes a little bit more or less substantial, I think if they're considering that would be fine. But again, I'm
As a consideration.
As a consideration.
All right.
Okay.
Should I go over the comments, or you have a motion to make?
I don't think there was comments with Mr. James.
Go over the comments. All right. One of the comments was to provide with low-profile landscaping inside the circular driveway made by Mr. Carnahan.
They have to coordinate with the city arborist on preserving the oak tree for whatever they do.
That may not be possible.
What's allowed?
If it is possible, then provide low profile. Okay. And Mr. James noted that the fireplace is not shown on the landscape plan, meaning if once it is shown, it will result in taking out one of the trees. And overall, shrubs are not enough to screen the house, so maybe it's a better idea to, instead of walkway, create stepping stones. That way you can provide more landscaping to screen the house. Also,
Yeah. Wherever they do the trash cans, they probably need a walkway.
okay. Also, Mr. James made a comment about using taller and narrow hedge to screen the house.
Well, I'm just saying that there are narrow plants. There's small trees, there's tall, narrow plants that would grow there, that would give it, we're not trying to screen it, we're just trying to soften it and create the woodland look.
Overall, more trees.
Yeah.
And also, Mr. Malikian asked for considering to lower the tower. That is just a consideration, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Am I missing anything?
No.
I think we all agree that something should be done to that tower, but
I don't care about the
it's
tower.
not.
Fine. So make a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
may I thank the people that have come here today to testify.
Absolutely.
I wish we had more of you come and testify and tell us your opinion, rather than just leave us out there by ourselves making our decision. I want to encourage anybody that's on television watching this to if you have a project, to come down here and testify. And I want to thank those people that are here today that came down to testify. I want to thank you for coming. And we do listen to you. You may not think so sometimes, but we do listen to your comments. And often we change our views because of your testimony.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve with comments. We have comments only, don't we?
And conditions. They have to
Consider
revise.
it.
We have a condition?
They have to
one-
revise the landscape.
Yeah, okay. Condition and comments.
Okay, is there a second?
Mr. James, I'm going to abstain because I wasn't here and I didn't put my comments in, so I'm going to...
I'll pass the gavel and second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion made by Mr. Carnahan to approve with comments and conditions, and
Yes.
a second by Mr. James. This will
Yes.
be a roll call. Mr. Carnahan?
Yes?
Mr. Malikian?
Abstain?
Abstain. And Mr. James?
Yes.
The motion passes 2-1.
Thank you.
Do we have a problem with one abstention and two? That's okay? We're three of us here.
I wasn't here to put the comments in. So
Still
that's
the
why
majority of the
because I
quorum.
would have
Okay.
changed the style. And so it was unfair for me, and everybody was happy with it, so I was just abstaining.
Oh, and we ask at this point in time, just for the consideration of others, if everyone can shut off their cell phones at this point, please.
And
Thank
stay
you.
quiet while
Pardon?
and stay quiet while we're talking.
Well, fill out a card if you want to talk.
Can we move on?
It's a break. I get to turn it off.
Board Member James.
Next item.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, this next case in front of you presented is number 2-PDR-2007-123-8, located at 1536 Royal Boulevard. Applicant is proposing to add 304 square feet of living space to an existing 2,528 square feet house that was built in 1939. Of the 304 square feet, 152 will be added to the first floor and 152 will be added to the second floor. The total addition will bring the house to be at 2,832 square feet, which will result in FAR of 0.23 and lot coverage of 16.5. The house is located in the Rossmore neighborhood. Per the applicant, the architectural style of the house is California modern, and the proposed addition will be consistent with the style. Rossmore neighborhood is typically characterized by homes built in the 20s and 30s. Home sizes in this neighborhood range from 1,400 to 2,500 square feet with FAR of 0.15 to 0.35. And building mass is typically tiered back. Landscaping is characterized by very well-maintained front yards and has various architectural styles and are classified as architecturally significant. The subject house is in compliance with the design guidelines of the neighborhood. Even though the house is slightly larger than recommended by the guidelines, staff believes that the floor area is within acceptable square footage. It is also, so the house is located in the R1, R3 zone, single-family restricted residential with floor area ratio District 3. Staff, I'll go over the staff comments quickly. The proposed addition is in compliance with the code. The applicant is proposing to use the same colors and materials for the addition to match the existing house. And the proposed addition will not change the overall mass and scale of the house. And if there are any questions, I will be available.
May I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Has the arborist looked at this? Because it seems like there's a encroachment on root systems of existing oaks.
There is a plan, landscape plan here, and it has a stamp from Parks and Recreation.
So the arborist...
I don't know if that, I think this is the mitigation plan for... I'll let the applicant address this more in depth.
Only oak mitigation on that. Okay.
Okay, okay, oak mitigation. Fine.
They did their homework.
Pardon me?
They did their homework.
Yes.
Looks like. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Robin, please state your full name for the record.
Hi, I'm Robin Ellich. I'm the homeowner. And was your question on the arborist answered? Because I have another copy of with his stamp of approval.
Well, you tell us. Was it answered?
Yes, the arborist did look at it, he did approve it. We do have engineering drawings for the appropriate foundation so that the root system is protected.
So you trimming the trees too?
I imagine we probably will have to prior to
The arborist blessed that also?
every time we've had our trees trimmed, yes.
I mean, don't you have to trim it for the second-story addition?
Not the root, the actual oak tree does not impinge upon
Oh.
the addition, no.
Okay.
So,
Anything else you want to tell us
no,
about
I
the
just,
house?
in case you have any questions of us, we tried to keep it moderate and in keeping with the style of the original home.
Yeah, you did that. Thank you.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ron? Please state your full name for the record.
Ron Mansky from Pasadena. I'm the architect, and I'm just here to be available to answer any questions or issues or concerns.
You know the problems that you can get into in Glendale if you mess around with oak trees.
We're looking at you real close.
That's why it's been 2 years.
On TV.
You have to pledge, no cutting without permitting.
No problem.
All right.
So any questions, by all means.
Okay, close the public hearing. Gentlemen,
I think it's fine. I have no problem with it.
I have no problem.
okay. All right. Make a motion.
Make a motion to approve?
Motion made by Mr. Malakian or Carnahan?
Pick.
Take your choice. Take your
Mr. Malakian, this time. And do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Carnahan. This will be a roll call. Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
Mr. Malakian?
Yes.
Mr. James?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
Okay, we're going to take an 8-minute recess.
8 minutes.
You get 8.
All right.
Okay, we're back on. Next project, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. This next item before you is case 2-PDR 2007-106-A, located at 341 through 345 West California Avenue. The exhibits are directly behind you, and we also have a rendering as well. It's for a new multifamily building, and the applicant's proposal is, again, to demolish an existing one-story single-family house and a duplex and construct a new 16,500 square foot, 3-story, 11-unit multifamily building over a 30-car semi-subterranean garage, and the lot is, or combined total of both lots would be 13,750 square feet. Each unit will total 1,500 square feet in floor area, and the plans show that 10 of the units will be 3-bedroom units and one two-bedroom unit. There is an environmental information form, environmental initial study on file. That's initial study 2007-024. It's a mitigated negative declaration. The project was, or the existing structures were constructed at 1913 and 1921. That's for 345 West California and the 341 West California location. This is a first-time submittal for final review. The zone is R1250. It's a high-density residential zone. There are no multifamily design guidelines. However, the immediate street block consists of 1 and 2 story buildings and single-family homes. Most of the homes, or the existing one-story homes, abutting the property to the rear, is a 3-story multifamily building, and basically the surrounding properties are multifamily. As it relates to the architectural style, the immediate street block, there consists of craftsmen. However, the multifamily buildings don't appear to reflect a common style throughout. So, therefore, this particular design appears to be compatible with the neighborhood, or in this particular case, the immediate street block, since there's no specific prevailing architectural style for the multifamily buildings. Are there any questions regarding any other areas in the report so that I don't go over every single one, or can I jump straight to the comments? Or are there any questions in general regarding the site planning, mass and scale, architectural style and materials?
Common areas.
Yes, they do have common areas. As a matter of fact, they have common areas. I believe it's towards the center, of course, and they have a center courtyard. And they also have at the rear, they also have amenities, for example, benches, a barbecue area, children's play area, and fountains. And they are integrated with the existing landscaping as well, which is, again, one of the requirements delineated in our zoning code. So they do.
Integrating with the existing landscape.
Well, the proposed landscape. So they have a landscape, let's say lawn and plants and flowers and trees. In addition to that, they have whatever amenities they are proposing, which is all part of, again, the whole purpose of the common area for people to congregate in a specific location for the tenants and for their use.
So does this property have a power easement at some point?
I will defer that question to the architect. I'm not exactly sure if there is a power easement there.
Well, on the rear of the property, there's
got to be power someplace.
There it is, a power pole there in the back corner.
If there is, they'll have to provide, I believe it's that 5-foot notch, which is a requirement per zoning regulations. Just to reiterate staff comments, staff felt that the mass and scale and design appeared to be consistent, again, with the overall neighborhood. They are providing the common areas, at the rear in the central courtyard area. The use of materials consistent with the proposed building's Spanish architectural style, which, again, that's what they've indicated in their architectural style statement. They are proposing various areas of articulation, accomplish the use of the materials, the fenestration, breaking up of the roof line, building walls in order to reduce any potential building mass. There are also, before I forget, there was a letter that I passed around, just a concerned neighbor. I actually spoke to the neighbor and addressed her concerns and described the project to her. And based on that phone conversation, she apparently was okay with what I mentioned to her, that the project did comply with, currently it appeared to comply with zoning requirements and basically the overall context of the building.
Okay.
And that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'm available to answer them.
Any questions for staff?
No, so the letter, I guess she's retracting her letter?
Well, again, I can't say whether she's retracting or not, but I don't think she's here. Initially, she said she was, I think the letter said she would attend.
Yes.
Yeah, and
But I don't think
the
she's...
noise, and she's amongst all these multifamily homes. It's not the
Yeah,
first one.
I spoke to her and I mentioned to her about the environmental that was prepared of the initial study, and which addressed different areas as it relates to environmental impacts, and we did not find that this project had any significant environmental impacts associated with it.
Okay. Thank you. Hamlet, please state your full name for the record.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Hamlet Zorabians. I'm the project architect. My address is 3800 La Crescenta Avenue, Suite 209, Glendale, 91214. The project before you is a 11-unit condominium project. And the configuration is we don't have townhouse units. They're not two-story units. They're all flats, so that we don't have any internal stairs that connect them. So the configuration is we have 4 units in the first level, 4 other ones on the second floor, and then the third floor will just be 3 units itself. 2 units on the one side and 1 unit on the other. We've taken advantage of this particular issue and articulated the building even more, because as you can see in the corners we have created terraces, which they have trellises on top, And specifically to the east side, you can see that we have located the third floor, we have set it back considerably from the exterior wall. And also, besides that, one unit is right in the middle of the block. So it gives you a very nice kind of asymmetric situation, if you will. So we have a perspective there, a rendering that we've done, and you can see all the elements there. Just basically, we're trying to reach kind of give a kind of a feeling of a small community of villas, basically. Each unit is going to have its own private terraces with trellis, and then as far as the style is concerned, it is a Spanish mission revival style. Smooth plasters for exterior walls. We actually did not overdo the precast and so on and so forth. So the windows are going to be bull-nosed and folded over with the plaster. The windows are going to be wood windows. They're clad windows, but wood windows. They're paintable. And as far as the colors are concerned, you have a color chart there, I trust. The main building is more of a beige tone, and where we have the windows are dark brown, depicting wood color, and all the trellises will match and give it nice accent to the overall project itself. So from each side of the project, when you're looking at it, if you will, the elevations are different. So from front is different, from the side is different. So we got a lot of articulation and through use of certain elements, the variety of elements, variety of different windows, and so on and so forth. Now, as far as trash collection, obviously, it's in the subterranean garage. We have full handicap accessibility requirements that we have adhered to. Common areas are going to be fully landscaped. The main common area is located in the rear of the project. And on one side of the common area, which is towards the west, we have a barbecue area with benches. And then on the east side of it, we have a children's play area, which is going to be an equipment there for children's enjoyment there. And also, as you're entering the project, you're coming through an open area right in the middle of the project, if you will. And you're going to be kind of invited into it via this central point, their focal point, that you're going to have a fountain and landscaped areas as well. So all in all, we have tried to spread around all the landscaping areas. And the building, as a matter of fact, is 11 units. However, potentially we could have had 13 units. What we are allowed here is 13 units maximum, but we have chosen to eliminate 2 units and go with 11 units instead. We felt that it will answer the project much better and it will result in a much nicer project. And that's what we've done. And I'm here for any questions that you might have.
One question.
Go ahead.
You have your, I don't know if that's an optimum place, you have your trash and recycle located where in the rear of the property, so then you have to drag it all the way up the ramp to the front?
Well, we're not going to be dragging it. Actually, what it is the trash truck stops, and then they send a smaller truck, then it comes and collects it. But if you can,
and so you go down. Anyone that goes down to the rear of the property, down the steps to deposit their.
Well, no. I mean, what we can do.
Work, they do it.
On the way to work.
They drop it off.
See,
that's a good answer. But what we can also provide, if you wish, we can provide actually a trash chute in the rear from the common area, if that you would see it appropriate. But since we have this is an elevator building, so we didn't feel that you're going to necessarily take the stairs
you got
and
a lot
walk
of people.
down. Yeah, but we can also include a trash receptacle in the back as far as trash chute.
Sure.
So you will just send the trash, down to the
those in the second floor,
down to the basement.
Yeah, right.
Which is it could be located close to one of the stairs over there. Okay. I can redesign it that way.
Thank you.
And as far as the power pole that someone mentioned, I heard, we have already considered that. If you look at the garage, we have a 5-foot easement. You can see the stair is 5-foot setback from the property line on both sides. And besides that, power is not going to come from that pole at all. Because once you're going over 400 amp and especially 600 amp for this many units, normally they bring it underground, and preferable location is in the front of the building. So if you see in the garage, on the north west corner of the project, we have an electrical room, which is going to be the vault, where we're going to actually have an underground cables going there, and then you have the panels there.
So
right there.
you're actually going to build a retaining wall around the property line to bring the dirt up to the deck level, because you're counting that as a common area?
Which ones? I'm sorry.
You said that where you're stepping back for 5 feet.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Counting as a common area?
Well, yeah, wherever we can, we have to have the soil up to the deck level. Correct. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, go ahead. I think your project is excellent. I have no problem with it. I just found a couple of things, and I was just going to mention it to you. And last meeting that I wasn't here, I was attending the 2008 IBC, and I don't know if you had a chance to review this project, knowing that this thing is coming up in a month and a half. Just wondering if you had a chance to review it. From my understanding, there's certain things that are going to happen that it's going to preclude us to design the same way we used to design in the past. But before I get into that, there's a couple of things, just wanted to bring it up to your attention. And these are issues that these are things that can be solved, but there are things that I just found. The elevator on the site plan, the location of the elevator on the site plan, which it carries through upper floors, the way that it's been located, based on a 27-foot setback. On the garage, it's actually sitting 20 feet in. Now, if you move the garage to the 27-foot, would you have the room to come around? That would be my comment on that.
Yes,
so that's something that I picked. And then on the parking, I don't know if it has changed or it's still the same. I haven't really looked at condo projects before, but lately, I believe you're going to need another handicap parking for the other parking spaces rather than just one guest parking.
Yes, we're planning to use the parking space close to the electrical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
over there we have excessive amount of area
perfect.
there.
Okay.
But you're right. As far as the elevator is concerned, I don't know why we have depicted it here. I think it's wrong.
I think
It's supposed to
either
be pushed
or
over.
is, if it's pushed over, you just need to open the door the other side so you come in. So that's the other thing.
Absolutely.
And the other thing that I've learned, and something that I would recommend for you to look into, there's a new provision about balconies in Type 5 construction, that the balconies, the distance that you're required to have from the property line when you provide a proper balcony within a Type 5 construction, the distance will affect it. So I would recommend you look into that.
Okay.
Something. So
All right.
that's the only thing that I could find. There's other stuff, but I would recommend to. I don't know if you're going to have time between now and end of
January to
December.
file.
End of December to file. If you are, then I wouldn't worry about it. But if you're not, then
Okay.
I would go.
No,
back
I
with
will. I will.
Okay, thank you. So I have a question.
Sure.
On the landscape plan, the plants are in raised planters, right?
Not well. Besides the one that is in front, like I have a jacaranda and landscaping in front, which is not in raised planters.
Right, because it's not,
Right.
there's no parking garage. But I'm talking about on the sides.
Mostly, yes.
Okay. And then on the back where the playground is?
It's not raised plants. They're all going to be. I'm going to be lowering actually the structure there.
How much?
2 feet, 24 inches. 24 inches just to have my lawn and low shrubs area there.
You have
But-
trees, the tree in there too.
Yeah, well, for the trees, I'll have to have 3 feet, minimum depth.
Or you're going to mound it up or build a
Yeah,
little higher
I can build up a
planter?
little bit. The reason for me to depress the slab is for the play area specifically,
Yeah.
not the trees themselves. So when the location of the tree comes in, I'll be able to kind of raise it a little bit.
Well, you could mount it up.
Yeah.
You could actually
Yes,
put a little seat
exactly.
wall, they could sit. Make a
Exactly.
little seat or something. Little seat
Yes,
wall.
exactly. I think I'm depicting that. You're on the swing, around the trees, like I think it's,
It doesn't show anything. It shows the
No?
tree on this plan.
oh, the peppermint trees in the back?
It shows the tree, but it doesn't show.
All around it, there's no 6-inch curb there?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. Mine does show.
What's it? Nor does that one, unless it's exactly under the edge of the tree and you can't tell one from the other.
Oh, okay, all right.
It
But
could have been
we
hidden-
meant to do
Hidden
it.
by the diagram of the
Yes.
tree. but-
We meant to do it that way.
Is there a reason why you provided on the sides 4 pop-outs for trees and put in 3?
There is a reason why we cannot?
Is there a reason?
Um,
It looks like one died.
Oh, you mean instead of 3, instead of 4, I have 3?
Pop-outs, but you only put 3 trees in. I'm just saying.
No,
well,
there's no reason.
One died?
No, there's one which, it's okay, we can add there to make it really 4 to,
The rhythm.
actually, it's the rhythm.
Yeah.
That's the value engineering you need to do with the area.
There's no reason for that.
All right. I was a little concerned about the bronze loquats because of the way they grow.
Mhm.
They're not upright trees, they're umbrellas. They
I know
don't get very
umbrella.
big. But if they're raised and you prune them, you should be able to walk under them. But
We meant to have kind of a shade kind of thing when you're walking on there.
the second floor will see over the top of them.
Uh-huh.
First floor, they can do that. I mean, just that's how they grow. They're not anything like the podocarpus, which is.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right. Now, the last thing that I was concerned about was your street trees.
Okay.
I'm concerned, so you have, I'll show you. Over, okay, here?
Yes.
These two are camphors. Big trees.
Big trees. Mhm.
This is the palm tree. And there's actually another street tree right here. Small.
Smaller one, yeah.
There.
Mhm.
So what I'm concerned is you're moving your driveway over, and I think you're going to have to negotiate with the city because you might be knocking this tree off. Because it's not a dot, it's big
Mhm.
roots, and you're moving this driveway to here. So
If
it's a conflict. Now, I don't know how you could resolve that, but you need to have the city go out there with you and stake it out and see, can I really do this? Because I'm not sure you can.
Yeah, if we cannot, in that case, then the existing driveway, actually, right there is pretty close to it. I may be able to kind of mitigate it by curving the driveway that goes down, instead of going straight in. You see how it's depicted there? It's not on the landscape plan, but on the site plan,
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
You're moving it almost,
4 feet.
yeah. So you might, I mean, I realize you're locked into this unless you want to shift the driveway one parking bay over.
Well,
But that would be a
to
different thing
shift.
altogether.
Yeah.
Change some- It would cause some changes for you.
I meant
To
to,
move the stairs over, too.
yeah.
But it would save the tree. So I'm just saying that the tree is not doing poorly,
Mhm.
but I think you might knock it off with this arrangement.
I will, again, I will definitely have to negotiate that, but the driveway itself, I don't have any problem by using like interlocking pavers or something that will be more
It's the
flexible
apron,
around.
it's the apron.
The apron, you're saying?
It's the apron that's the problem, in the
Yeah.
parkway, in the right-of-way, the city
Okay.
parkway. Driveway itself, I don't think is a big
Okay.
problem.
I have to negotiate that with them, I mean, it's definitely.
Okay.
And I meant that I didn't really know if it's exactly 4 feet that we're moving. If it's close enough, I will be able to kind of meander as you're entering in, curve it a little bit. Actually, it would be much nicer too, rather than going straight.
Possibly. So
If
I
it's
would-
possible.
I would get it properly staked out and have them come out and tell you. If they sign it off, or if you
Okay.
negotiate on the tree,
All right,
their tree.
okay. If not, then we have to, if they allow me to, let's say, take that one and then replace it with 2 others, ones in the street, so I'll do that. Okay.
Their trees. Okay, that was my last question.
You're the chair.
I have no other cards, so I'm going to close the public hearing. You can have a seat, and we'll tear you apart now.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Malikian.
Well, I think the project is is done extremely well. I think the details, the effort that has been placed in the presentation and how everything has been kind of put together, I think it's just, there's nothing to talk about. I think it's just done extremely well. The only thing I would recommend the architect is that to definitely look into the new code changes, and I may be wrong from what I know, but it may have a huge impact on the design. So, but I may be wrong, and you still have the time, and I can't base it on what's going to happen in the future. So, so I think other than that, I think it's a beautiful design. So,
Thank you.
I don't have a problem. Open space, fine. Design, fine. Well done.
Thank you. When I was driving down this street, I noticed that it's one of the nicer apartment streets. There's some nice buildings on the street. And I was pleased to see you got the idea. So I agree. I think it's very handsome. I think people will want to live in it, which is really good. Be proud of it. I have no problem other than the comments raised. So,
The only comment that I have was to consider reviewing the new code changes. Is that building code changes?
some trees. Yeah, the building code change. I mean, not consider. I mean, I would just. You don't even need to.
So,
put
okay,
it
so
on.
I
mean,
won't.
I'm just talking.
And specifically, did you have any comments regarding the landscaping?
yes, I
Okay.
wanted him to put in 4 trees on both sides of the building and the 4 planters he's providing.
So add 4 trees.
Or add a fourth.
Fourth.
Oh, the fourth?
And to verify with the city that he can move the apron without killing the tree, or if he's going to kill the tree and negotiate some settlement
So add a 4th tree at the side of the building,
on both sides.
on
north
both
and
sides?
East and west, I guess.
And what was the comment about the planter?
In the parkway, he has to stake out where the new driveway actually is and get the tree.
Okay, so-
Tree department to approve its due location in regards to the potential damage it may do to the existing street tree, which is quite large.
Verify the location and potential impacts.
But that's outside of the property, so it has to be considered.
Well, he may have to move the driveway, so it might come back, so he has to do it. That's what the thing is. Now has to do it now rather than later, since it may not be an issue, or you might just work it out. Okay?
Okay, so I have verify the location of the potential, or excuse me, the location of the tree
And the new proposed driveway
and the
apron.
potential impacts associated with the new driveway
Apron.
Okay. First, we'd need to adopt the environmental. If you want to go ahead and do that, we need a motion.
I'll make the motion to adopt environmental.
Has the architect read the?
He has a
You're
copy
okay
of
with
the
the noise?
mitigation.
Yeah, we already initiated that. And that's, the mitigation states that would be before, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Board member, not board member Zarabians. Mr. Zarabians, you might need to
That's
come up
fine.
to
That's
that.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'll second.
Okay, roll call. Board Member Carnahan?
Yes.
Board Member Malikian?
Yes.
Chairperson James?
Yes.
Okay. The environmental's adopted, and now, would you like to approve the project with the conditions that we went over?
Make a motion to approve the project.
Second.
Okay, approve with conditions by, motion by Board Member Malikian, second by Board Member Carnahan. Board Member Malikian?
Yes.
Board Member Carnahan?
Yes.
Chairperson James?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a 3-minute recess.
We're back on.
Okay. Next project?
I have to say, my little daughter just called and she wanted me to say hi to her. Hi, Tanny. So I have to go before I go in. So she just saw me. She got home, so I have to say something. I get in trouble.
All right. And with that, the next case is
Serious stuff.
Case number 2-PDR 207-119-A. Location 727 East Maple Street, and the exhibits are in this panel right behind you. The applicant is proposing to add a 1,363 square foot addition and a new 441 square foot detached garage to the existing one-story, 791 square foot single-family house. It's currently located on a 5,642 square foot lot. The addition would include 375 square feet of floor area on the first floor, and it's located at the rear of the house, and a new 988 square foot second-story addition. And that second-story addition is also proposed to be located at the rear, actually above the first-floor addition. The total proposed habitable floor area will be 2,154 square feet, and the existing 216 square foot garage is proposed to be demolished. The house was originally constructed in 1923. The project is exempt from CEQA review. It's located in the R2250 medium-density residential zone, and it's actually multifamily zoning, by the way. This is a first-time submittal for final review. The immediate street block consists of a combination of single-family homes. There are some 2- and 3-story multifamily buildings present along the immediate street block. Again, currently, while the zone is multifamily, this is a single-family house in a multifamily zone, and it will remain single-family at this point. Are there any questions regarding any of the comments in my staff report as it relates to style, massing, or proposed site planning? Or would you like me to go through the comments?
Did you go over your comments, yes?
I have a question. I think we should continue this because the site plan is inaccurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does not have a 9-foot driveway. Per that plan, there's 14 feet between the two houses. So it has a 7-foot driveway.
Okay.
That's where it is. And if you look, there's a survey marker out there. And if you paste it off, it's not 9 feet. So, and he's doing the addition to match up with the existing, so I don't think he can do that either. So I think he needs to.
Let me just really quick, that's fine. I put up
Unless
the
they have
most,
some covenant where they're sharing the driveway, but that's how it is.
I would have to have the applicant address that. These are the most recent site plan that was submitted because I caught some other items which were addressed. I will, however, pin up a survey that was submitted.
I'd like to see that. What scale is that survey? Check. 1/8. Well, there's only 12 feet between the houses in that one. So, I don't know what this dotted line is unless it was the lot shifted. I guess the lot shifted. So anyway, I think that we're starting off on the wrong basis.
Okay.
And until that's resolved.
What is the problem again?
He says he has a 9-foot driveway, and he's doing his addition based off a 9-foot driveway, and he doesn't.
What do you mean?
Because I looked at it. You can see the survey.
There's no
now.
boundaries.
There's a survey thing, and here's the survey here. This is the distance between the houses, 12 feet for the surveyor. 9 feet, we're over here. Neighbor's property.
Okay.
There's 2 driveways here. This is driveway, they're sharing it, so. And he wants to keep his house over here. But I don't think he can do that part.
Well, isn't he leaving where it is now?
Yeah, but he's added on the back at the same place.
Right.
The applicant has stated
So
there
he's
may
not
be
encroaching into
there may be an easement, so
That's what I'm saying. I'd like to continue
Okay.
it to verify that this is, that he can do this. Because he
Okay.
didn't have
But
it.
it's an existing house, that's what I'm saying. It's an existing house, existing driveway.
He says it's a 9-foot setback. It isn't. 7 feet.
It can be 2 feet, but whatever it is, it's an existing condition. He's not going beyond the garage wall or the
He's
existing house.
also moving this garage 5 feet off of this phony property line, which is not it's not where the property line is. It's on
If we're going to continue it, I just want to
You have a comment about the house?
actually, one general comment to everyone in public and whoever is listening. Alan Loomis, our principal urban designer, was kind enough to send us an article called the Art CA
Yes, right.
magazine.
Yes, right.
And it has a lot of articles there that has to do with design review, and it's, I don't know if people can see it or, you know. And there's a topic here, and then there's an article in here that talks about, it's said 10 guidelines for coming out as an architect. And in there, it has 10 guidelines for people who are going to be presenting in front of the design review. I think it's a very nice article, and I think it touches upon every condition and every issue that we've had. And I would personally retype this or copy this or whatever and just leave it on the front and reprints or whatever it is in magazines and just put it in the front for everyone to have. And I think it would be great to even pass this magazine along to the council, knowing that they are going to go through the new guidelines and new restructuring the whole system. I think it talks about a lot of different scenarios at different cities within the nation, where the design review started and where it's going and how every city's looking at this. Well, the reason that I'm bringing this is one of the number 10 item in this guideline, it says respect the process. And respecting the process, and I think in summation of what that is talking about is the respect for the presentation, how it's being presented, the way that it the required drawings that are being posted up and presented to the public, including us. I think that is missed substantially, and a lot of the projects that do get the benefit of the full review process are the people that have gone through the one step beyond as what a respectable architect that has presented before. I think the presentation, the quality of the drawings, and how every condition has been addressed, that it basically eliminates any guesswork of what they're proposing to do. I think that's one of the key elements that every person that comes in front of us needs to have, the minimum that it needs to have. And I think the reason that we are continuing this project is because of the lack of effort and a lack of kind of a nonchalant way of, okay, they want site plan, well, I'm giving them site plan. They want perspective, I'm giving them perspective. Well, if you just spend an extra hour on each drawing and put in just an extra effort, one notch above what you're supposed to have, then I don't think we'll be here and talking about and have them wait for this long, for this many months for it to be on in the agenda, and then also sit here for 3 or 4 hours now that we're going to continue this because of those issues and conditions. So I think it's really important for everybody to grab a copy of this book, and I'll try to see if we can make copies of this article and then just have it available for public. So having said that, if you want to continue it.
Yeah, I'd make a comment.
Absolutely.
I think, Milka, you did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
On your comments here, I'm going to tell you, you addressed many. Some of them, you're at the street trees. I didn't find any street trees in that area. There's one, and it may not even be in our purview, but I'm being an engineer. I'm always looking at weatherheads, and I don't think that's a legal weatherhead. It has to be addressed, and you may not want to even address it, but, that should fit into the design.
You're talking about the power to the house.
The weatherhead, the power to the house needs to be addressed. The roof antenna, of course, are not legal if they're in the front, and that's, so I notice things like that, and something we should look at.
And one of these guidelines, number 9, does say seek an advice meeting with the city staff. And I
Yes.
think if they did that and they met with you and read all these comments and discussed it with you, I don't think we would be here. That would be another kind
But
of...
Milka, you did a good job.
Thank you.
We're not putting you on the spot, we're just...
So, I'd like to have it continued. I can't make the motion, but I would just...
I'll make the motion.
I would like to have it continued until we get an accurate site plan that shows where the property line actually is and that it actually fulfills all the basic requirements based on that location.
Is there, since the applicant is here now for the record, do you want him to approach the podium and maybe explain anything if they have to explain? Because they've been trying to,
They're welcome to approach.
they've been making little visual signs, so I don't know if they
Okay.
should have the opportunity to explain anything.
State your full name for the record.
Good afternoon. My name is Ruben Reynolds. I'm the owner. We have an easement on the property. The property driveway is 8 feet on both. And the owner on the right, he knocked his garage down and made a 2-car garage, and he needed a 1-foot easement before the city would approve it. So what we did is we both agreed on a 1-foot easement. So I do have a 1-foot easement on his property, so that makes it the 9 feet, and I do have that. I thought I submitted it, but I do have that.
I'm trying to just get after it. Per this survey, there's only 12 feet between the two houses. So that means there's 7 feet, not 8 feet. So what I'm asking is that you verify these dimensions, locate the actual property line. If you have an easement, bring it in. Or show the easement on there also, because it has a difference. Because this is like, for instance, if one of you decided to tear down your house and somebody tried to build an apartment house, which they could do, then you would have this problem of, well, do I get to build to my property line, or do I have to allow for his driveway?
Well, he's going to go and come back for this, with this, and so
Right.
it's right here.
That's a recorded easement, correct?
So he has to revise his site
You
plan.
just want it to
Continuing this
be
for that, it's here, so I don't think we
No.
should continue.
I want a correct site plan that shows the property line, shows the garage off the correct property line. You don't get it, the garage setback off the easement line. You get it off your property line.
Well, that's supposedly submitted by the people that submitted the,
I mean, the survey shows one thing.
Survey,
So
yeah.
the surveyor says there's 12 feet between your house and your neighbor's house. That's how he drew it. So if that's the scale, then you must have I don't know, what's the minimum driveway?
Well, the minimum driveway would be actually, for new projects, is 10 feet, or it can be reduced to 9 if there is pedestrian passage. In this case, there is, because the garage can be accessed from the rear of the house.
Right.
So therefore, the 9 foot would be adequate for the driveway.
Right.
It actually can be reduced down to 8 feet according to the code if it's an existing single-family home.
Now, can they add additional and continue that same
Yes, they
setback? Or do
can.
they have to?
If it is they can make additions to existing
Do they need-
single-family homes that have an existing legal non-conforming 8-foot wide driveway. If they had less than 8-foot wide driveway, they would be required to go through the administrative exception process.
Well, I don't know what they have, because the survey says it's only 12 feet wide. So I don't know what their driveway is. So it's 6 feet wide, on either side, plus whatever the easement is, the property line. So that's what I mean. I'd like to see a proper site plan that shows it before we go down this road. That's
Do you
what
mind
I'm
if I just take
continuing
a
for.
look at your scale?
this is our,
I mean, it may be a survey, or maybe the problem, maybe he's wrong.
but we
I don't
had
know.
this, we were here in the review board,
Yeah.
2005, and we had a single family.
Right.
And we had that issue resolved, and now we're coming back with a second story instead of, because of the problems there. But that to me was resolved that time. I thought I sent that paperwork here with the easement. But you're
But
saying...
we do have the easement,
Okay.
the
Right,
grant deed already.
You're saying your property line is 9 feet from your house. It isn't.
The
Your property line.
driveway is 8 foot.
Well, I'm just trying to say that the survey says it's 6 feet. I'm just trying, just what your documents are. And you're saying that your property line is 9 feet from your house, which it can't be.
8 feet.
I'm just
I'm
what
just
the
saying the
plan
driveway is
says,
8
9 feet here. The property line is 9 feet. That's why I'm protesting, because there's an inaccuracy somewhere, and I don't like to go forward until I have accurate documents. That's why I
I
want to
think the
continue.
surveyor saw that also and said, okay, you do have the proper 9 feet with the easement. I believe that's why he put it down.
Yeah, but that's an easement. If you
Yeah.
want to show your property line's in an easement, that's correct. But then you can't put your garage off of your property line, not off the easement. Because you're showing the garage 5 feet off your, not property line. You understand?
Yeah, I
They
understand.
can actually put it on the property.
Not in this zone. It's not single family.
You can put it, if it's detached garage, you can put it in a...
Not in a
Not if it's-
R3.
Not in,
No. You should be able to.
not if
but
it's
you
in a
can't.
multifamily residential zone, you cannot put the garage on the property line.
Okay, so when would
Single-family
you like to
housing.
come back with the corrected plans?
Well, what's required in a plan? I mean,
Accurate site
anybody-
plan.
I mean,
It's basically just submitting accurate information based on what they just conveyed
No,
to
an
you.
accurate site plan, and you want to show the easement on there, locate your garage off the property line? How long would it take you to provide that?
Mr. Chair, just one, with all due respect to the applicant, I was just wondering, should we comment on the building itself? And then, because if it's going to come back with an accurate site plan,
All right, so you
then
think...
if we're going to have issues with the building, then
Sure.
we're going to send them back
All right.
again.
So I'll accept that.
So I'm just
You want to
saying.
do that?
Let's comment on
I
the
think
building.
I
if we're
brought
going
up
to
my
comment
issue.
on the house, then let's comment, and then if the only thing that is the site plan we have an issue with, then we can continue with the site plan we got it approved, but if not, then, you know, they
I was
can,
concerned that the addition on the back couldn't line up with the existing house because there wasn't that much setback. And I think that it just compounds the problem. That's just my first concern, but that's... Go ahead. So, do you have anything else you want to say about your project while you're up there?
no, I believe that
Give
can
me-
be
you know-
resolved.
Yeah, I was just going to say, now, are we opening up the case officially?
Yes, apparently
Essentially, we
are.
would have to open up the,
Didn't, we already started it. Yeah, so we're continuing with the case.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Continue.
Next person is Doris. Please state your full name for the record.
Yes, good afternoon to all. My name is Doris Higgins. I'm the one, the designer of
Your address?
15749 Archwood Street, Van Nuys.
Okay.
Here for the question, if there's any question about the design.
Any questions about the design?
well,
Other than the setback, that's my question.
what's the style? I mean, that's the first thing I ask when I'm kind of confused with the architecture that is being proposed. I mean, what are you trying to do? I mean, are you trying to match what it's there in the front? Are you making some changes to the front? Are you adding the new to match the front, or are you changing the front to match the new addition? I mean, what is it that you're trying to do?
It's a contemporary style, modern style.
I wouldn't call it modern, but I'm just saying you have certain details that are it's in the front that, you have, ionic columns that are sitting there with some other stuff that on your plans, it's being changed. And so, and you got other additions that you're doing on the back are you changing the front to match the back, or are you, it's a little bit of a confused set of drawings that it's not really clear what your intent is.
Okay, we're just matching the proposed to the existing, like the windows and the...
There's a lot of things that are happening with the existing house that it's being eliminated on your drawings. And I think the thing that I want to be clear of what your intent is. You have corbels that are on the gable roof that is coming out. You have corbels that are being supportive. You have some details there. You have details around the windows, and so all of that seems like it's being removed based on what is being proposed in the back. So you seem you're confused, but I mean you need to be the one who's explaining this to me, and not me asking questions. So you have that confused look on your face.
Yeah,
and you're like,
we're just trying to keep the front of the house, and we're just trying to add in the back, change the kitchen, and then add a new bedroom, and then the patio. And for the second floor, just the 3 bedrooms.
all right, then I guess I have to give directions. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
I have to say something here. Plan says 8 scale, but it's not 8 scale. The drawing. Something's really wrong with this drawing, so.
At the survey, Mr. James, or the
Yeah.
site plan?
The survey.
Oh, okay.
Says it's 8 scale, but it isn't really. What scale it is? Because if this property is 40 feet wide, boy, maybe it's 6 feet. I don't know what scale it is. So, when they come back with a scaled drawing, where it says what scale it is and the drawing is the same scale as what it says, it might help a lot here. 'Cause that drawing isn't 8 scale, so I actually take back what I said about the 12 feet. I mean, it might be what you say, 8 feet plus 1, but you ought to at least get this drawn to scale so there's a way to measure it. Okay. And if you use that for your site plan, then your plan is right, because that's not right. So it's important that these drawings actually reflect the true situation. Okay, that's all. So we're finished talking, right? I don't have any more cards. I'm going to close the public hearing.
Okay, I'm going to go through these plans, and I'm kind of give them a direction of what they need to do. According to the architect, or the designer, they're going to keep the front as intact, as is. The way it's drawn, it's not. And what I want to see is I want to be able to recognize what's existing, exactly the way the existing is, and what is being proposed. If you are changing the front, let us know. If you're not, let us know. But the way it seems, it looks, it's not really happening. I'm going to give you some examples. You have this little pop out here, and you're calling it a stucco, and I'm not sure what this is. If it is a stucco, or if it is an existing condition, if it's something new, I don't know what this is, so I would clarify that. All of these windows are getting this trimming, which you're calling window and door framing, but they're not framing. The way that the existing is, it's actually a wood window trim within the window itself, but it's not a trimming. It's highlighted as a yellow. It seemed like, to me, it's like one of those flooring that they put around the windows with plaster and then kind of create that recessed area. So if what we're doing is trying to match the existing in the front, then these are all incorrect. Everything that you see here is incorrect. They're not per what's there now. These are all white wood window trims that are incorporated within the window itself. You have You have corbels that are, this front entry has nothing to do with what is drawn. Right now, it's straight. It's shown as arch. It's not just what you wish. I'm going by what you just said, that you wanted to match the front. So it's not really, once this is drawn accurately, then this should reflect what's there. These windows are all new windows, so it should state that. There is an existing, and I'm not sure how this thing is working, but there was an existing air conditioning wall unit that it's being removed. Where is the new AC unit located? So I would say, let's address that. And you got all other details there that you started to match the front, but the front, if you say it's existing, it's not there. So this then it won't not work with the front. So I would look into that. Other than that, I have no problem with the addition. I have nothing. I think it's just more of a clarification, and I think just the respect to the process and being in touch with the whole process with staff, I think that would have helped a lot. But there's a lot of things there that are part of the existing that are interesting, that it's lost with the renderings. And I think it's just purely the presentation, the way it's drawn and how it's being presented to us. I think that's why we're having this issue. So I think one go-around wouldn't hurt to get this all resolved. And it's unfortunate that we're at this point and we're talking about it. I think it should have been picked up by the architect and the designer, and these minor stuff, it's not something that we should be picking up. We're not reviewing this. We should be looking at the overall design and trying to understand what's going on. But what is being presented to us is not drawn accurately, and by simply just going there or by photographs and looking at certain conditions, we can simply see that could have been just simply drawn in, and we wouldn't be in this position. So,
do you have any trouble with the mass of the new on the second, the first and second floor? Do you have any trouble with this mass feature? They bring this out a little ways. I don't know if we should have an architectural feature to break up that mass.
one side is
More than the other.
I think it's a modest addition. I think it's even if you play with that, I don't think you're not gonna. But I think if they do follow the details that they have, it's, all of this Mediterranean detail is going to be gone, and
you don't have to break up
you have
that
more
mass
of
of that wall.
I think the way that they've kind of inserted in on top of each other, I think it works
pretty well.
This is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think I have a problem with that. As long as the details are consistent, I think it's just fine. So I think that's all I'm asking for, just a consistency. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Carnahan.
I just want to make sure that the engineer reviews the weatherhead and the antenna has to be removed from the roof and some of the details. And, I think Milka did a good job on comments. We resolved the garage plan had been submitted, gutters, downspouts.
I didn't see the gutters downspout details.
You've asked for that on comment 8.
But I haven't received it.
And we should pursue that, I think, then, Milka. Other than that, that's my comments.
So, I would go back to the surveyor and get an accurate survey, find out what scale it is, or have them draw it at 8 scale, and then verify that the plan, your site plan that you're doing is accurate. Because if you use that survey, I think you might have a problem. And then secondly, when you do the garage, in Glendale, the thing that determines the driveway is this 25-foot radius. You know what that is? It's a 25-foot radius that, there it is over here, on this one. So maintain that when you relocate the garage, wherever the garage is going to go. But it has to go both ways. When you go out, and then it has to go around the house, it's the same way. You have to actually have it to work, so that person can actually get in and out of there. So it actually has to work. So the other thing is that on your site plan, it looks like it says that you have second-story addition here and a first-story addition here, but it looks like it's all second-story addition. Right? Unless I'm reading wrong. So it's just a matter of accuracy, so that's it. So what do you want to do?
Just one quick other comment. Please look at conditions like this. We started putting the stairs that comes in, and I'm assuming that you want to use under the stairs to be able to use that. Well, you're not going to have the headroom for that. So you're going to have all this space unusable. If you count the stairs and if you count the steps and the headroom and everything, you need to have it at least, I believe, well, the new code changes, but I think it's about 7 feet, 6.5 to 7 feet or whatever it is, but you're not going to have that headroom. So you're going to have this space that it's not used. Now, I don't know how you want to, so stuff like that, I know it's an of the existing house, but it may be incorporated in a way that the stairs can be relocated, so
Make a move to return for redesign. Second. With comments. With comments.
Yes, do you want me to go over them briefly?
Sure.
Okay. The first one has to do with submitting an accurately scaled site plan and survey which properly shows the property lines and the existing driveway easement and properly situate the garage in relation to the property line.
It also shows the setbacks of the house from the property lines, both sides.
Okay, and setbacks. Restudy some of the void spaces and their use. Clearly and accurately label the existing and proposed additions. Verify the location of the new AC unit, new windows, or just clarify which are the new windows being proposed. Draw the existing house accurately on the elevation drawing. Show all details throughout. And remove the antenna at the front and any additional visible accessories on the roof. And submit details on gutters and downspouts.
They also need to locate the AC unit. They're removing the wall.
Right. Well, all I mentioned was to verify the location of the AC unit and show it on the plan.
Okay.
Okay.
They might as well show where they're going to put their trash area at this point.
Okay, and identify trash area.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that was a motion by Board Member Malikian, second by Board Member Carnahan. Now, instead of continuing it, it's return for redesign.
Okay.
Board Member Malikian?
Yes.
Board Member Carnahan?
Yes.
Chairperson James?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay.
Staff would like to request a very quick recess to put up some plans.
5-minute recess or less.
That was a change.
Yes, it was. Okay, we're on.
Okay. Next project.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the Design Review Board. The next case item before you is case number 2-PDR-2007-089-A, located at 368 West Lexington Drive, located in the R1250 High Residential Zone. This is a first-time submittal for final review. The applicant is proposing to construct a new 5-unit, 5,990 square foot multifamily dwelling on a lot that is 6,709 square feet. The project will be 2 stories and consist of a semi-subterranean garage with 11 parking spaces. The project includes demolishing of a single-family house. Now, I do have pictures of the existing single-family house. The house was built in 1920. It was reviewed during our craftsman survey. It was not determined to be of any historical significance. Therefore, the demolition has been okayed by our planning department.
Before it came in front of the board? Before it came in front of the board?
Yes. Again, this is in a multifamily zone. Staff has two comments regarding this project. The proposed massing scale appear to be compatible with the existing multifamily buildings in the neighborhood. The two-story design is generally consistent with some of the two-story buildings in the surrounding neighborhood. The proposed design will be well undulated, which also breaks up the massing, as displayed here in the perspective. The proposed design indicates changes to the landscaping conditions. A landscape plan was provided with this application. All of the proposed drawings are located to the left. I hope not to be confused with the Alameda project directly next to it. That concludes my presentation. If there are any questions, I can answer them.
One comment. Most of the buildings in that whole area are pastel colors, and a gray that does seem, I hate to use the word not compatible, but it's not consistent with the general color scheme of the neighborhood. So we'll just have, that's just a comment.
Okay. We have one car. Oxen, please state your name correctly and fully with your address for the record.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board. My name is Oxen Babikenian.
Thank you.
I'm structural engineer and president of Oxen Associates. This is work of our designers. As Mr. Reza said, that this is a 5-unit townhome style multi-resident. The designers try to at most to do what the neighbors just appropriate with the neighborhood, and coloring we try to be pastel in a little bit in avocado color, so just it's more greenish, more go with the green stuff that is going on nowadays. We have lots of landscaping on the or slab, so that way we'll just try to kind of hide the building in a sense. Although it's a very beautifully done building, it's very looks appealing to the eyes. We have wood windows in front just to give more of a natural look to it. On the sides is aluminum windows, and plenty of the garage is subterranean garage, so the cars are out of the looks. So overall, I think it's we did a good job, and hopefully you like it and you think so. If you have any comments, I can try to answer you.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
On the A1 site plan, it says the driveway is 10 feet 11 inches. And then it says on sheet A2, the driveway is 12 feet.
12 feet includes the wall, side wall.
Well, no, it says 6 inches for the sidewall plus 12 feet for the driveway paving area. That's what it says. But my A2.
That could be drafting error. There's, I think.
What is it?
It's 11 feet.
I think it's 12 foot 6 inches because the 11 foot is the clear
11 foot
driveway
is the
beneath-
clear, yeah.
between the wall, and so it's 12 foot 6 inches.
12 foot 6 inches total, yeah.
So the way that the driveway is indicated on A1, it should be 12 foot 6 inches.
12 foot 6 inches, yes.
So I have two questions regarding that. First question has to do with the existing Magnolia Street view that you're eliminating with this driveway. So you'll have to contact the city and verify that they'll go for that,
Yes.
right? Second question is that right next to you is another driveway,
Uh-huh.
and I'm looking at what protection are you providing them from falling into your driveway? How are you protecting them?
They're
Because you're right on the property line with your driveway, and then having a wall, a curb, a railing, how do you keep them from driving into your
I
driveway?
think we should provide a railing there, yeah, or a fence wall.
I mean,
We should propose that, yes.
what can they do? It's rather unusual to be right there.
Correct, and that would be regulated by buildings and safety. Building
Again.
safety will make that regulation.
Because they can't have a fence in the front yard, right? And they have an 18-inch high wall, at least?
Yes, they can have an 18-inch.
At least you got to keep them.
Keep the room, yes, 18 inches.
Okay. So as far as the street tree, it's a nice street tree.
We had the landscape architect to look at it, but I guess we can talk to the city
Well, they're
about
just-
mitigation of that one, yeah.
You're in the same place. yeah. Now, if you flipped your building and put your driveway on the other side, you would miss the street tree completely.
Mm-hmm.
Street tree would stay.
Yeah.
Considered that?
We can say we can look at it, but most likely, based on situations at hand and based on what it worked, this was the best situation we came up with, but there's always, we can look at first for the mitigation of that magnolia tree, see what we can do about that. If
Okay.
it's something come up, we cannot do it.
You're lucky it's not an oak tree.
Yeah, it's less of a,
Otherwise, it'd cost you $100,000. All right. That's all my questions. You
I have a couple of questions, and I'm surprised you haven't noticed this. I picked this up. And
I'm not perfect, I'm sorry.
on landscape plan on L1, this whole place is being considered as a lawn.
yes.
I'm looking at your section. It's either a deck, or is it a raised lawn, or is it a recessed deck? Nothing is being shown on your section, on A7. It's showing as a flat concrete slab. Which is it?
It's a flat slab, concrete flat slab, but we're putting all this landscaping, greens.
The lawn.
It's a lawn we're going to put on a flat slab.
On a flat slab?
Yes.
So how do you,
Yeah, because of the space, we need to have about close to 40%, green stuff, and we don't have that, so we use the flat slab. We're going to raise put 4 or 5 inch of, or maybe 12 inch of dirt on top of a slab and have that's what our landscape architect looked at it too, and he says it's doable. That's why we have all this nice.
what's the minimum depth planter we allow on deck? I don't think it's, I think it's 2 feet, isn't it?
If it's a tree, it's, I want to say 3 feet. We'll both look at it.
Okay. I think there's a little bit of a requirement on depth.
Well, the problem that I'm having is that there's a not just simply saying it's just a raised area for planting. First of all,
It's a common area too,
it's a
combination.
common area,
Yeah,
so it needs to be accessible.
yes, it is.
You got your second exit leading out from there,
Mhm.
which is right at the edge of this landscaped area.
Yes.
So there's no landing. If you're raising 12 inches, so you need to have another step, which you won't have the clearance to walk around it. I mean, there's a lot of issues there. Just simply saying it's a lawn and just because you need it, I think it needs to be reviewed. I think the deck, rather than being that it's a raised, I think that area needs to be depressed to have a flushed area so people can walk over, whatever the depth you need.
Mm-hmm.
That may be the solution, I don't know, but at this moment, the way that it's drawn and what you want to use and the way that it's anticipated as how to access this area, I don't think it works. I think that needs to be looked at one more time and kind of...
Yeah, this is the second time actually with talking to staff. We had the landscape to look at it first, and then we looked at it second time, but still, yeah.
Yeah, but you can't just put lawn on a deck.
No, there's a paving
Well,
stone.
there's artificial grass.
Yeah. Artificial, that's it.
And my next question is, where is your, and I'm asking these questions because it's going to affect the overall design.
Sure.
From my understanding, again, is that you're going to need 2 handicap parking spaces, one for the guest and one for the regular, being that you are providing an elevator.
Yeah.
So I just see one, and how does the second one come into play, and are you going to be able to provide that? And that's my second
understanding
question.
was we needed one, but
No, you need, when you're required to have guests, that guest has to have a handicap, and also you're going to require, but you can't put the handicap here.
well, we have a
your
space on
elevator here.
the left side.
We'll have them walking behind the car, so. But
We have a
anyways,
space on this left side.
my last question to you, and then I'll talk about some of the issues that I have, is that which has come first? Has the landscape designer came first, or your design came first? Because the way that the front is designed, I just see that it's so unnecessary to have so many walkways and ramps and taking out huge chunk of, I mean, just simply eliminating this walkway and just coming straight out. I mean, this is not even a walkway based on this, it's just stepping stones.
Yes.
So I don't know, just simply this coming straight out, why would you even need that? You're going to have more landscaping.
That's true.
And then you're using 1 to 12 slope, you can use 1 to 10 slope, which is a 5% slope. That will decrease this amount, so you'll have more room to landscape. So there's a lot of those thought that I don't know who has came up with. Is the landscape architect trying to fit in or design around your design?
Basically,
or
we had the preliminary design. He worked on it first. Then we had a talk to Gabriel or the person before you. He got sick, or he's not in the members anymore. So they come up with suggested that we relook at the whole landscaping. We talked to the architect, Mr. Tyson, and he looked at again. This is the second go round on this. Now, your comments are well taken, and we definitely will look at it, that issues to landscape issues, solve it the best we can, because we're doing a lot of landscaping on the flat slab there, and also it's a common area too. And
well, I mean, I'll talk about these things, but it's not. It does to me. Just simply saying we have a deck and I'm going to put a lawn on the deck. That doesn't really do anything to me. So. Okay, all right, then.
Now it's Yes, fine.
Have you looked at this with the new IBC code changes?
Not really, because this is first time we're coming in here, and we're trying to see if it is okay. I know IBC.
I would highly recommend you looking in this project with an IBC, especially meeting with some of the plan checkers that are familiar with the new code changes, and I was lucky enough to attend some of the seminars with them, and we found out a lot of things that are going to impact the normal quote-unquote condo design and the apartment designs that we're constantly seeing.
That's why we try to see if we can go through it before we go through these fire codes, and there's a lot of stuff with the fire.
You don't have a lot of issues, but I think just on the size of the units are going to get smaller. That I can tell you. But anyways, I would recommend you doing that. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Close the public hearing.
I can go on. As I mentioned, I found several things here that I think once the architect sits there or the engineer looks at it, I think they're going to find out that their design has certain issues that it will impact the overall design. Looking at from the basement to the upper floors. Those simple comments that eliminating just the walkway, having it come across and having more landscaping, being able to increase the walkway slope to decrease the ramp, finding a solution rather than having maybe just simply flipping the main entry from one side to the other and having your main access to that unit from the elevator being from the living room side. That will completely eliminate that walkway in front of the 3-foot walkway in front of or behind the ramp. From my understanding, I may be wrong, but you only need a single access from the elevator to the units itself. So, those things are basic elements that an architect reviews at. And I think one of the things that is lacking in this project is an architect's review of the project. I think programmatic-wise, it works. I think all the spaces have its own function pretty much tied down. The spaces are wide enough. You have the accessible route and you have everything, but just these walkways and finding solutions with the code and trying to use the code in your benefit to come up with a more substantial, a better design. I think that is something that is lacking. I think, and overall, I think it's a nice design, but it definitely has room to get much better. I think it's not just simply adding stone around the windows. I think the thing that is lacking, this project is lacking, is the guidance of a style that they need to pick. One previous multifamily that we saw, I think that was a great example of the architect taking a style, and absolutely have no comments on the design. I think we all commended on that. And so he took a style and he just carried that throughout the entire building, and he used the details that are norm with the style, and he used that to his benefit and kind of taking it all around. And whereas on this one, it's a very simple, Mediterranean box, and I think by just adding certain stone elements around the windows does not justify the approval of the proposed building. There's some interesting playful elements there, but I think again by carrying this project and taking it and looking at it as a whole and a style that it's incorporated in there, you'll find that there's a lot of conditions there that can be improved. I personally think there's just too much plaster all around. I think the front has just been completely carved out. This you can see. This whole front end can be completely covered with landscaping, where you can eliminate this, pretty much most of this ramp. You can eliminate this walkway by extending this across here. You can eliminate this walkway by, rather than having the entry points at this point, having the entry on the other side and be able to access from the other side. So this whole thing can be pushed against the building. This staircase can just be this narrow and be able to walk out. So all of that can be solved simply. The elevation, even that, this elevation, the way it's drawn, it doesn't depict. You're going to have a handrail going right across it. There's no security. Obviously, once they realize that they're going to need security, they're going to need a buzzer, they need to have a gate that you go through, they're going to see that there's going to be an element added onto this side. I'm assuming it'll be on this side. So that needs to be incorporated in there. How does that? That itself could be a nice design element. I think the proportions of the windows, the way that it's centered with the stairs, I think it needs to work more with the actual building itself rather than that. I think they need to look at certain conditions like these, this is a pop-out, that the window pretty much takes the whole section, and I think it governs for a single door rather than a double door, and things like that are the issues with the project. I think you got all these like same-size windows that are being just placed as it's needed based on the function without looking at what it's doing on the exterior. So again, as a reference, I would recommend going back to the previous project and just looking at how it's been designed and just try to, take on a task of just saying, okay, this is what I want to do and this is where I'm going. This is the style that I want to follow. These are the studies that I've done. This is the details that they generally use around the windows, around the eaves and around the balconies and so on and so forth, and use that as part of your basis of designing this thing around. I'm going to start getting more and more into this IBC, and I think it's definitely going to be something that I'm going to ask for everyone to do, because it's just more of a favor from me to you than approving this like this. You go in a month and a half, if you're not able to get this plans in, you're going to come back and sit here, and so you're better off doing that right now and be able to realize what the issues are to be addressed with. And I think landscaping definitely needs to be addressed, not just simply looking at it as a plane, as just planter boxes that the trees are placed in. And if you are going to be using that entire deck as a lawn, I mean, I've been told many things, but not just putting a 4-inch or a 12-inch of lawn on a slab. It's not going to work. I think that it needs to have drainage system. It needs to have certain dirt for growth and so on and so forth. So I would probably recommend to depress the slab, be able to fill it in with dirt and level it with the lawn and do the appropriate thing. And if you are going to do it as a raised landscaped area, then go ahead and show it as a raised area. You show the retaining walls around it, show the steps going there. Don't have the stairs die into this retaining wall that's so-called the 12-inch raised planter, the stairs that are in the backs. And so the site plan needs to be worked at, definitely, and I think the architecture needs to be looked at also.
Thank you. Oops, Mr. Carney.
As far as the architectural style, I'm very pleased with what they've done underground. The location of the elevator, the trash collection, all that, and in its proximity to the handicap space. It's all, I think, it's well done. And we mentioned earlier on the driveway, it's got to protect that because there is a potential for needs a rail along that wall down into the basement. Other than that, basically it's a nice design, with the except I think the west elevation was well done. Enough articulation breaks it. And then the problem is in the east elevation, and that massing there. We've tried to do this with landscaping, with archways, with the balconies, and it's probably adequate enough to break up that mass on the east elevation. Generally, I have a problem when we have this long roof line. It doesn't have any character. I don't know how we can introduce character to that long roof line with the tile. It's maybe the structure isn't large enough to concern ourselves with it, but I often would like to see. They tried to break it. I see there with these balconies and these roof sections to break up the mass. It really doesn't accomplish that. Other than that, though, I think that overall, the landscape plan, it needs landscaping. I think they probably, and I agree with Malikian that if we eliminate some of these steps in concrete or hardscape in the front, that we can end up with more landscaping that would add a great deal to the overall acceptance of this design. Other than that, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. My bad. This was really a bad landscape plan. It makes no sense at all. Okay, so
I'm surprised you didn't.
I'm sorry. Hopefully I would have saw it before, but your landscape plan is no good. It's bullshit. So, I mean, you've got lawn a foot off the ground in front of all your French doors, your sliding doors. That's going to be interesting every time you open the door. So, I don't know what the problem is. Either your building is too big, so you can't get enough landscaping, you haven't created a common area that's common, it's just, you missed it, whatever it is. So, sorry, but since they can't hear you, you can't talk. So all I'm saying is that now, how deep did we say that landscaping has to be? It's 24 inches minimum, right?
Minimum.
Landscaping is minimum 24 inches, 36 for trees. Is that right?
That is
Okay.
correct.
First lesson. So some people lower the deck to do it. Obviously, if you're walking outdoors right into lawn, you're going to be irrigating inside the place. So that couldn't possibly work. I think Mr. Lincoln's right. You have an awful lot of paths and walkways. Exactly why, I don't know. I mean, I think this exit, for instance, coming out of the garage, it doesn't go zip. It goes around on all these stepping stones. I don't understand that at all. But again, it's the landscape problem. So possibly your building's too big, and you need to make it smaller so that you can create these outdoor spaces and real landscaping. And real landscape structures, we'll call them, right? So that might have been what it was. It's just that it was too big a building, and you ran out of room, so you planted lawn on the walkways. Okay. Now, what about, for instance, you have no outdoor spaces for the units on the ground floor. That's only on the second floor. Is that right? That's what it looks like. That's right? You don't have to have an outdoor?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to get a step.
I'm sorry.
There's no requirement to have an outdoor space for the unit on the ground floor? There's only balconies. The first floor has no outdoor space that's private. My question.
Okay, the question being that the requirement, no, the private,
just asking
for
what
the
the-
private open space
Yeah.
requirement? No, it can be located on the second.
Okay. See, now, I would assume that it would have been on the first floor because that's where all the actual family activities and guest activities are. I doubt they're all going to go up through the bedroom into the balcony to do it. So I think it looks to me like your building is too big to the point where it's excluded proper landscape development. So that's my view. I think that you're going to fix it, you ought to keep the street tree, since it's really a nice tree, and you can. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't flip this building and reconfigure it. It helps your landscaping. It's a big tree. Makes it look nicer along the street. So that's your choice. I guess that's it. So.
Just one other quick comment. Looking at your parking plan, I see things that it concerns me, which I think eventually you're going to realize that the parking layout that you have is not going to work. Always remember, and it's something that you can look into, I may be wrong, but always remember the first handicap stall needs to be van accessible. And it needs to be 8 feet wide, and you cannot put it on the driver's side. It has to be on the passenger side. So, having said that, you went ahead and go ahead and located the 70 square inch accessible sign per section, so and so. So I would probably not spend time on putting stuff like that and studying the actual code itself and understanding what it's going to take. And once you realize that you're going to be short in having the additional handicap stall, that's going to become a major problem later on. I have to admit, I didn't notice that. I mean, I noticed the landscape going against the building, but I didn't notice the landscape going against a sliding door. So, again, I would put more effort into studying what other consultants do, and you take an initiative of knowing the project. And I agree with Mr. James. I mean, at the end of the day, you might come back and realize that it's too big.
Okay. Motion.
I would like to return for redesign with comments, and I'm sure they want to hear the comments.
Second. And a second by Mr. Carnahan.
Oh, without hearing the comments, I guess.
Okay, the comments are basically as follows, and I'll word them later, but basically the first comment that I have was to restudy the front entrance to eliminate the walkways and hardscape and to introduce more landscaping. The second comment that I have was to have an architect review the design elements and introduce a style and have elements of that style be incorporated into the design.
I wouldn't say have an architect review it, but that was just a comment as a general.
Okay.
It wasn't, but I would strike the
have an
architect review it,
have
but have somebody or have them go back and review it.
Okay. Done. And I do have, should I just say, provide a new landscape plan that addresses all the...
Yeah, it has to actually be per code.
Okay, per code. Now, the comment with regarding the new building safety regulations, that's a consideration.
It's a consideration. I mean, it's their prerogative, but I would highly recommend. I see things there that don't meet the code, so...
I can have them meet with the building plan checker first. I mean,
It's a consideration, again. It's not a requirement, so it's up to them. If they're willing to take the risk and come back without having that reviewed, get it approved, and once they realize when they go through the plan check, they have to do a major redesign, they're going to end up coming back here anyways.
Understood. And those are the comments that I have.
Okay, vote.
Okay, this will be roll call. Mr. Malekian?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
And Mr. James?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
And the last one, which we were going to approve in the beginning, but I guess...
Okay.
Oh. Hey, they're gone.
All right. Present the last project.
Okay, Mr. Chair. Next case item before you, the last case, is case number 2-PDR-2007-117-A, located at 1264 Alameda Avenue. The applicant is proposing to construct a new 280-square-foot detached office and a new 827-square-foot addition to a single-family home. The lot size is approximately 7,800 square feet. A new 440-square-foot detached garage will also be included into the project. The total proposed habitable floor area will be 2,739 square feet. This project is exempt from CEQA. This project is located in the R1 floor area district zone 1 for basically it regulates a 30% floor area coverage. These are the elevations along with the site plan, floor plan, and prospectus. They're split into two boards, and I hope it's not that confusing. The staff has 3 comments pertaining to this project. The proposed architectural style of the project appears to follow the recommendations of the guidelines. The proposal also maintains a rhythm of the neighborhood by maintaining its front setback. The design guidelines for this neighborhood primarily focus on mass and scale. This project exceeds the neighborhood floor area average approximately by 730 square feet. However, the subject site has one of the largest lots in the area. Last comment, the proposed design indicates no changes to existing landscape condition. The staff would recommend a landscape plan to be submitted to complement the new construction.
Say that again, that last thing?
Staff would recommend a landscape plan to be submitted to complement the new construction.
Isn't A1 adequate?
On the back?
Oh. For the landscape You want more,
Yes.
okay.
So,
How about that jacaranda tree in the front? That's a huge tree.
There are no jacarandas in front of this house.
It shows it right here.
It says 3 or 4 of them, but none of them are jacarandas.
What are they?
They're camphors in an elm
camphor.
tree.
Is that within the, was that camphor tree? That's right in the,
These 3 camphors are street trees.
well, how about this one next to the front?
That's an elm tree.
That's an elm, okay. We'll get around to this. So an elm, is that, where that elm is located, is it a healthy, can it be a healthy tree in that position?
It's been there a long time. It's a battle between the house and the tree.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not protected, it's there.
It's not protected, they can cut the heck out of it if they want.
They have been pruning it, yeah. They can prune it some more.
Okay.
Gary.
Great.
I'm sorry, Craig.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the
State
board.
your full name and address for the record, please.
Greg Powell, 4936 Angeles Crest Highway, La Cañada. I'm the project architect. The couple, a young professional couple, came to me in the beginning with really 3 primary objectives. The first being one of a corrective nature. I mean, there existed many additions that were non-permitted, that were very substandard as far as the construction, and they wanted to make sure that got done and was up to standard. The second was that they have 3 young children that are grown up, and they wanted to give them a little bit more room. And the third was trying to create a better master bedroom area for themselves. So the first was by far the biggest challenge of the project, where we had to, once we took off the back and removed a large portion of the house, we now were made to, for the zoning ordinance, come up with a new garage and meet the zoning requirements for separation with the office. The husband is a work-at-home animator, and he works out of a studio that's attached to the existing garage, a single-car garage. So in taking that down, we then needed to create a new studio for him, which required the separation that you see, and we pushed everything back to the lot to better utilize the yard area for the boys. And we're doing all we can just to try to preserve the existing landscape, so.
All right. Any questions?
Wood windows throughout?
Put windows 3 out, yep.
So the garage is going to be new,
Yes.
and it's going to match the...
Yeah. Yep. Good car.
I would probably pull the roof a couple inches back so that you can drain if you're not going to have a gutter, so it doesn't drain over the property. And I don't know if you have any power lines in the back. You may want to check with the water and power. I think you do. Along the budding property, you may have an easement there that you may want to be aware.
Yeah, power line, power easement. You have to get a permit to build in the garage.
Sorry you had to wait, but I guess we do have a card from a neighbor.
The neighbor,
So,
Fortunately, the neighbor had to leave.
well, that's the way it goes. So your site plan is incomplete?
No, it's complete.
No, I'm saying that you, like, for instance, you have an office, but are you going to go across the grass, or do you have more walkway? I'm just wondering, how is he doing on percentage of landscaping? Because he has a rather wide driveway patio.
He's calculated as 48%, which is 8% over the required.
Did you deduct all that paving for the driveway? That's a rather big piece of concrete you got going back there.
We can make it conform. We can work with staff if it's not conforming to make sure that the final...
Well, I don't mind it, as long as you get your 40%? 40% of landscape. But the driveway doesn't count as landscaping.
Right.
So it just looked like a lot. All the trees in front are not jacarandas, so that's an error. It'd be nice if they were. I like jacarandas, but they're not. So he thought, and I don't disagree, that you ought to consider how you're going to do the backyard, since you're going to tear it all up. Are you going to put it back together?
Tear up the backyard, how so?
Well, you're tearing out the existing garage, and you're going to
Yeah.
tear it out and put in the office in a new garage, so that I don't think there'd
Yeah.
be much left by the time you're done, plus the setup area, you're going to do the addition on the back. So I'd say you turn out the backyard, do the construction.
Okay.
Because you're protecting the front yard, right?
Right.
So that's why he thought maybe we should come up with a landscape plan via staff. How are you going to put it back together?
As you see there, that's the plan, to put it back together like that. We're not going to take out the trees. All we'll be doing is, if we need to, we'll resod.
Okay. Well, it doesn't say that on it. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't say anything on the plan. Not complete, so we do that.
Sure.
Okay. I don't have any more questions. Any questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Close the public hearing.
The only question that I had was the material board, which I see, and it answers most of my questions. I'm done.
Okay. There'll be some interesting space between this garage and the property line. 2 foot or whatever it is.
Would you like a motion
I would.
to approve? We don't have any comments, do we? Do we?
Do you have any comments? No.
We'll just make a motion to approve.
Well, the landscaping.
You want a landscape?
No, I mean, I don't.
I think they could show what they're going to do when they're done,
Yeah.
just with more accuracy.
Okay.
I will just show it to staff. It doesn't have to be anything. Just let them know they're doing it.
Then I'll make a motion to approve it with a comment.
Okay.
Second with
Second.
Mr. Carnahan. This will be roll call. Mr. Malikian?
Yes.
Mr. Carnahan?
Yes.
And Mr. James?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from October 18th.
Yes.
Then I had a little disagreement with something on page 2.
All right. Let's take it.
2?
Page 2, yes.
Because it couldn't have happened that way. We couldn't have possibly voted this way. Otherwise, the motion wouldn't have passed.
That the case was continued to November 1st with those conditions to be shown?
See how we voted?
Well, essentially, the motion passed, so it was continued to November 1st.
How did we vote?
Board Member Friedman and Malikian voted A, yes. Board Member Carnahan, no, you're right, because there was, well, it was essentially continued to November 1st.
That
Well,
was
look-
the vote for the previous motion.
That was the
It
vote
wasn't
for the-
successful.
Correct.
This motion, we all voted for.
I don't recall, if, and this is something that we will take
Otherwise,
a
you
look through
couldn't
the
have
case.
passed even this motion. It wouldn't have
Pardon?
passed.
I believe this was the time that all 4 board members, we had 3 or 4 different motions.
I think this was the one that it got automatically continued because the
Automatically-
motion died.
Because every single motion
Well, we
died.
voted to continue. We agreed to continue in the end, I thought.
We will review the
We
tape.
couldn't have voted this way because nothing would, I mean.
No, it
But
was-
anyway,
it
I'm
was
just
not-
saying
it was
that it's,
correct.
that
Thank you
something's
for-
missing.
thank you for
Other than
pointing
that,
that
it's
out.
fine.
Yes.
So I can't move to approve it either. but-
Okay.
So should we wait until that checked, or should we just?
It's up to you. If you believe staff will make the correction,
Yeah.
more than welcome to go ahead and vote.
I'll move for the approval of minutes with the staff, just going one more time, reviewing it.
Okay.
But I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
You were there?
I was
Those-
there.
All 4 of you were there.
Oh, we all part of there.
It was there.
All right, okay.
You second?
Yes.
Thank you.
So in terms of roll call, Board Member Carnahan?
Yes.
Board Member Malikian?
Yes.
Chairman James?
Okay.
Motion
Any
passes.
comments before we adjourn?
No, your next meeting is obviously, happy Thanksgiving, everyone, by the way. Happy Thanksgiving. Your next meeting is scheduled for December the 6th, and we have 7 items on that agenda. So if you'll be
December
another.
6th. So the following week, we don't have, Board 1 doesn't meet,
Board 1 does not meet next
and then they
Thanksgiving Day.
meet.
And then they are meeting on November the 29th, so your subsequent meeting would be on December the 6th. And you will be receiving notification regarding the city's Christmas party.
Are we going to be meeting, do you think?
Pardon? There will hopefully will be a quorum
Isn't
on
December
December
6th a national holiday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, if they turned the
A week
calendar,
from
we could
there,
look,
it'll be
but-
a national holiday.
Oh.
It'll be my birthday, so.
And we'll be conducting tours of floats again this year.
Oh, and I want to come.
You want to come?
I definitely want to bring my whole group because they loved it. I should recommend it. If you can go, it's amazing.
Oh, good.
Give you a down on the floor tour of the floats.
It's amazing.
Just don't touch the flowers.
They make you tie your hands just so you can't touch it. All right, with that, we're adjourned.
Thank you.